Morning. It's your brother Wise, man. I appreciate you guys pulling up this morning on this fine Friday morning. Man, I hope all of you guys are doing well out there. Looking forward to the weekend. I hope you guys enjoyed the opening track this morning. Um, you know, with everything that's going on, I know a lot of you guys are going through things. Had people send me emails, and I've seen the comment section. So I just thought it was appropriate to start it off in that way. In that way. The victory is already ours. It's already ours. But I appreciate you guys pulling up this morning, man. God bless each and every one of you guys. We have an excellent show today. Today is Friday, so y'all know what time it is. It is panel show. And I have some really, really, really good guests that are pulling up today. My brother, Minister Denzel, is already here in the building. Shout out to him. We'll get everybody pulled up here in a second. We also have Celeste Duffy from Celeste_Duffy. She'll be pulling up today as well. We have Crystal from Crystal Beyond Labels pulling up this morning as well. We also have my guy, Jay Witt from the Jay Witt podcast pulling up this morning. And we also have Mika from Red Cup Talk. She'll pull up this morning as well. We're going to have a really good conversation. We're going to talk about a plethora of things. I know you guys seen the thumbnail, seen the title. We're going to get that. That's probably will be the last topic that we get into today. But it's going to be a good show. Now, y'all know what time it is on Fridays. Panel show. They normally go a little longer than normal, but they're always a good time. And if you can't stay to watch the entire show, it's okay. Come back, hang out with us, watch the replay. Let me know in the comment section that you did. And if you are here watching the replay, let me know in the comment section that, hey, man, I couldn't pull up live, but I'm here watching the replay. All right, let me show some love to my folks in the chat real fast. As always, let me do that. I had to scroll all the way back up here. Shout out to Lori Ottison. Y'all make sure y'all follow her instructions. She says, happy Friday. Happy Friday morning, ARP family. Please hit the like button on your way in. Hit that like button. It doesn't cost you anything to hit the like button. What's going on, Malachi? How you doing this morning, brother? Grace and peace to you. Northern Illinois. Okay. Appreciate you. What's up, Sugar Shane? I know he's not here. I know he had to roll out. He's going to play golf. It doesn't sound like he's a great golfer, so he really out there he sounds like he really just out there to drink and have fun. Hopefully he stays safe out there. Don't lose too many golf balls. Shout out to Lil Rock. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. What's up, Donald Lovejoy? Lori Ottison. Appreciate you pulling up. I already said that. Soul Driver, what's going on? Info equal wars. InfoWars in the building. Shout out to you. Redefined Queen in the house. What's up, Zephyr K9? How you doing this morning? Appreciate you pulling up as always. I know I saw B in the building. Shout out to you, sis. She was just waking up. Wake your butt up. Get up. What's up, Hadessa? How you doing this morning? Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Shout out to, let's see, who else we got up in here? Booby Fish. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that properly. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Thank you very much. Who else we got up in here early? And you guys were in the chat early this morning, 8 something in the morning. Goodness gracious. What's up, Hunter? How you doing this morning, brother? Y'all know Hunter always comes through with the Bible verse. So to help kick the show off properly, shout out. Today's verse is from Ezekiel. So it says, for I take no pleasure in death of anyone, declares the sovereign Lord, repent and live. Ezekiel chapter 18, verse 32. Thank you very much, Hunter. As always, I appreciate you, brother. What's up, JJ O'Hara? Or should I call you? Nah, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to put you on blast. But appreciate you pulling up, JJ O'Hara. Thank you very much. We got Pastor Stephen in the building. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Who else we got up in here? We got Marla in the building. Shout out to you. Dead by Dawn in the building. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Big Job Ford in the house. Wisconsin in the building. Shout out to you. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. We got Carol Reyes in the house. Appreciate you pulling up. David Harrell. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Thank you very much. And you guys was up in here early, excited. Appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all for pulling up this morning and, blessing me with your presence. Shout out to Marie Noose, Toy Mafia. Appreciate you. What's up, Nanny? How you doing? Appreciate you pulling up this morning as always. Thank you very much. What up, LJ Taylor? Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Appreciate you. Who else we got up in here? We got Angela Montgomery in the house. Shout out to you. New Jersey in the building. Shout out to you. I know, LJ, you at Crowley, Texas. Shout out to you. Appreciate you pulling up. We got Soul Driver in the building. Shout out to you. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. We got a couple super chats, so we might as well check those out. Shout out to Malachi with the $5 super chat. Says, time to boogie woogie. Shout out to Mitchell Chase with the $2 super chat or super sticker. Thank you very much for supporting the channel this morning, both of you guys. And Malachi, he's like, man, don't be like Anton and be late. I'm trying to... That's crazy. I was slightly behind. I believe it was yesterday, and I was maybe 3 or 4 minutes behind, which is not normal. Not normal. I try to make sure that I try to be punctual, and more times than not, I try to be early. I'm normally here, but I'm working on things as I'm getting things set up for the show. What's up, Amber Young? How you doing this morning? We got Omega X in the building. Grace and peace to you as well, brother. Appreciate you. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. We got Marcy Richards in the building. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Tim, how do you say that? Oh, not Tim. The Sunfluencer. Goodness gracious. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. All right. We got Kristen Knight, culturally Hispanic in the building. Appreciate you pulling up. The Clueless Woman with the $5 super chat says, God bless you, sir. My brother in Christ. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. And God bless you as well. Thank you. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. I'm glad to see that you guys enjoyed the song. You know, I'm glad you guys enjoyed the opening track this morning and the countdown. It's called Victor, and it's by Barbara. Oh my goodness. I want to say it's Barbara Walters, but let me double check that. I want to make sure I'm giving you guys accurate information so you can look it up for yourself if you want to go and check it out. It's one of my favorites, you know, out there. It's one of my favorites. Okay, Brenda Waters. Goodness gracious, not Barbara. Brenda Waters. Sorry about that. But yeah, go check her out. Phenomenal. It's an older track to us, but it still hits today. Thank you, Beautifully Flawed, aka Lisa, for the $5 super sticker. Thank you very much. Appreciate you supporting the channel this morning. Thank you very much. All right, we got Robin Jen Street in the building. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Rachel Diamond in the building. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Let me see. We got who we got up in here? Okay, we got Minister Danzel here. We got Crystal. We got Celeste. We got Mika. We're waiting on one. We'll start pulling folks up here in a quick second. What's up, Amethyst Angel? How you doing this morning? We got Johnny. Is it Longoria? Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Rachel Diamond in the building. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Thank you very much. What's up, Annie Love? Appreciate you pulling up. We got Trisha Alvarez. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Ryan Stegall. Appreciate you. Mitchell Chase. Appreciate you. Elma Luz Corbella. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. What's up, Natural Beauty? How you doing this morning? LS, A-Town in the house. What's up with you, brother? What up, Lisa? Leslie Aaron. What's up with you? What's up, Dion? Lewis in the building. Annie Love in the house. What's going on? Angel R in the building. Shout out to you guys, man. Appreciate you all pulling up this morning. Make sure you hit that like button for me if you have not done so already. Hit that like button, please. Super chat, super thanks are greatly appreciated. As I bring the guest in here, if you have any questions or anything like that, that is the best way to get your question answered. And typically, you know, last week we had a person answer a question and it kind of got added right into the conversation. So it was phenomenal. So let me pull some folks up in here. We got, start with my brother, Minister Danzel. How you doing this morning, brother?
Hey, my brother, you know, it's always good to be here, man, and see you. You guys are doing a great job, and I'm just loving this invitation.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you pulling up as always. We got Crystal from Crystal Beyond Labels in the house. What's going on with you, sister?
Good morning, Wise. Good morning, Minister Denzel. Good morning, ARP family. Happy Friday, everyone.
That Amen. It is. That it is. That it is. And give me 1 second here. All right. Shout out to Kenny Cooper with the $10 super chat. Says, my birthday is tomorrow, and I will be home in Georgia celebrating a young and good-looking 59 years old.
Wow.
That was the big news. Shout out to you, Kenny Cooper.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, man. Happy birthday. Y'all make sure y'all show Kenny Cooper some love in the chat, man. Y'all make sure y'all show Kenny Cooper some love. A young 59. He said good looking, too. He had to throw that in there, huh? All right. All right. What's going on, Celeste? How you doing this morning? It's good to see you.
God bless you.
Good morning.
Oh, man. Uh-oh. You kind of muted on us. Hold up. Yeah, did you push the mute button? I didn't mute you.
Oh, sorry, that was me.
There
I
you
said good, happy birthday, good morning to everyone else.
Good
All
morning.
right.
Good morning.
Thank you, Celeste. Thank you, Celeste, for pulling up this morning. All right. What's up, Mika? How you doing this morning, sister?
I'm fine. Good morning. Good morning. Well, I'm not too fine. I'm actually a little tired, but
A little tired?
that's what
man.
happens when you stream overnight.
Oh, yeah. You burning the midnight oil. I hear that. I hear that. I'm an early bird, man. I'm in the bed early. People hit me up. Jay Witt always hit me up 8:30. I'm like, bro, I'm going to bed.
8:30.
I'm in the bed early. I'm in the bed
Oh
early,
my
man.
goodness.
I know
Yeah.
that's real
Yeah.
early. 'Cause
That's
I'm not.
real early.
I ain't in
Yeah.
bed until probably 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. But
Well, I'm
okay.
not necessarily sleeping, but I'm winding down. You know what I'm saying? I'm winding down around that time. So I gotta work on that. I gotta do a little better. Let me bring my guy Jay Witt up here, man.
Man,
up, Jay Witt?
look, man, I got some things to say, man. Just because you be having your bonnet on your beard at 8:30 at night, man. Go on, take that bonnet off, hop on the stream with your boy. Let's get talking about it. Stop playing.
Hey, man.
Just
Hey,
stop.
I'm up early. I'm up at
I'm
4:30,
up early
5
too.
o'clock
Ain't
in the
nothing,
morning,
ain't
man.
nothing but a word.
You know?
You ain't say nothing. I'm up
gotta
early
have-
too.
Hey, I gotta have my rest. You know, I need my rest. You know?
Yeah, we
Anyway,
want more
grace and
wise
peace,
out there,
everybody.
not rested up.
Yeah.
Good to
I
see
want to make
y'all.
sure that I'm sharp. You know, I want to
Hey,
make sure
Jay
I'm
Witt.
sharp, you know, in the morning time. But appreciate you guys pulling up this morning, man. Appreciate you all. Hopefully today's show will be as good as last week's show.
Oh,
Just
didn't that be?
not as long, but I thought last week's show was phenomenal. You know, especially with everything that was going on. I thought last week's show was phenomenal. Shout out to Mika for pulling up. I think this is the second time. Is it number two? Second time on here with us?
Yeah,
I believe
yeah.
something like that.
Yeah,
You know, we've been trying to get
second
you
or
on.
third. What second or third?
The
One
third,
of them.
somewhere in there. So appreciate you pulling up this morning.
As always, you're welcome.
Yeah, so let's get the show started, man. So I want to start off with something lighter. I don't know if you guys had a chance to see it, but got a fan, Mika. Shout out to Malachi with the $10 super chat. Mika says, great talk after hours last night. I'm an early bird trucker, so I watched this morning. Great to see you on ARP in the morning.
Well,
Welcome.
thank you. You were up with me at 4 a.m. Okay, I see you out here.
Oh, man.
Struggling.
Yeah, Malachi, he's in everything, man. Shout out to Malachi, man. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys had a chance to see it, but Dame Dash yesterday was on The Breakfast Club, and he kind of went off yesterday on Charlamagne the Fraud. So I want to start there. So I wanted to start with something a little light. We're going to kind of slowly but surely transition to some more serious topics, but I wanted to start there because Dame Dash, man, goodness great. It almost reminded me of the Birdman. That Birdman moment, you know what I'm saying? When he
Put some respect on my name.
put some respect on my name. It almost kind of
Absolutely.
took me back there. You know, so I want to start there, and then we'll keep going from there. Give me a second.
I don't know. Okay? Well, you make a lot of money.
No,
So you've been doing this every day your whole life, and you're not making no money.
nope.
And
Like you, Dan.
So, no, you're not like me.
What you mean? You say you don't have?
Do you have a
say you
family
don't make a lot
office?
of money.
I bet my house is bigger than yours. I bet all my houses are bigger than you. I bet I have a better.
How old are you,
Stop.
man?
Now it's how old are you?
This is embarrassing.
You're
I bet your house
embarrassed.
is bigger than
Yeah, because
That's what you got, Dan. Come on, Dan.
I got you. I'd like to see your view. Can you show me your view right now? Do you live in front of water?
View of my house?
Yeah. A view of what you see when you relax, when you're not here every day. See, when you're in it,
decent.
let me just finish. Let me just see your view. When you just now said, let's just go back to how ridiculous you are. The president filed for bankruptcy 8 times, still a billionaire. He's saying he's a bad businessman. You're just not that smart.
Okay.
And you have to acknowledge that. And you know why? You're not seeing the world. You know what happens when you have to go someplace? You're laughing. You know what happens when you have to go someplace every day at 4 a.m? You can't go nowhere. You got to be here every day. You've been 15 years. You've missed the whole world. You don't know what you're talking about. And you're saying it confidently. And you're in an algorithm where people actually believe you out of response. And why you think they keep you here? They want y'all to make us dumb.
But if you worked here, you would.
I would never work here. I would
$20
only.
million in debt.
What you talking about? I'm not. I'm not in debt. Look, stop right there. Stop right there. I'm not in debt at all now. What are you talking about?
Oh, you paid it all off?
When you have this bankruptcy 7 is like getting hit by the cartel with 100 bricks and they die and you don't owe no more. I want you to ask someone that this is what you should do if you want to do something smart.
Dang.
Get a specialist, a lawyer in bankruptcy, and you ask them these questions. Get a professional up here, and then they'll tell you. Why ask me? You know what I'm saying? Like, and then when he tells you you're dumb, you'll believe him.
Dang.
Anyway, the difference between you and I don't think you're a proper representation of the masculine black man. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you guys are.
I'm listening. Okay.
Like, your OG is Wendy Williams.
Mic drop.
Hey, he went up there with all the smoke. All of the smoke. Meek, I'll let you kick this off, man. What are your thoughts?
You know, coming from the entertainment industry, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And it's because Charlemagne, right, or Leonard, his mama called him Leonard. Here's the thing about him, right? He talks all about everybody else, right? But he never takes accountability for anything he does and says, right? The one thing I can agree with Wendy Williams with is that Wendy will stand on whatever she says, and she has, the receipts, and she never was used as a puppet. A lot of the industry did not like Wendy because Wendy would just tell it, right? However, Charlemagne, he's actually a puppet. He's a media puppet. And the problem that I have with him is that he goes on these rants to try to seem, educated or, politically astute, but he doesn't have any knowledge of anything he's talking about, especially when it comes to finances. He doesn't really know anybody that's, going in that direction. You can tell because DJ Envy tried to, interject, and we know where his finances and his business mind is, right? But last but not least, he had the nerve to actually sit there confidently and say that Donald Trump is a bad businessman. Now, regardless of what you feel about Donald Trump, a bankruptcy is not, because here's the thing. If you have a bankruptcy, more than likely, these homes, these businesses, they're LLCs, okay? Gavin Newsom just did it. Gavin Newsom got a whole house in an LLC. So at the end of the day, these people understand how to get around the system, around the tax law, things like that. This is why they're smart. So to call
And
somebody so to call somebody who's gone through bankruptcy a bad business person tells me why you don't have the view of the water. Tells me why you're not rich.
Amen.
Yeah. You don't luck into $1 billion. I mean,
No.
I
I don't care if it's given to you. I don't care if it's given to you. If you don't know how to do it, it's going to be gone.
Mhm.
It's going to be going. Absolutely. Jason, you want to get in there?
Absolutely. Okay. I agree with Mika. Shout out to Mika for sure. Dame Dash, definitely school Charlemagne. I don't like how he started out, however, like show me your house, show me the stuff like that. That did sound a little bit on the childish end. I would love Dame Dash to have actually schooled him and said, let me explain to you how finances work, since I've watched your last 3 episodes and you clearly don't know what you're talking about. DJ Envy, why don't you go ahead and sit down, because you got an FBI case that's coming down the street around the corner. You sit here and listen to. Just hilarious. You ain't never been funny. So sit there and be quiet. Let me explain to you. I would much rather him at just school. Now, the last part of it, he did bring it. He got into the proper frame and broke it down. But I think he was kind of losing me in the beginning. Like, show me your house, how much money you got. I'm like, dude, come on, we're not in kindergarten. But I do think that, and I agree with her, that Charlamagne and them have been flipping at the mouth. They've been a blight on the Black community for I don't know however long. Because they don't give information that's usually balanced and true. A lot of the time, it's just something that people want. People don't like Trump, so he knows his audience. If he says something bad about Trump, whether it's true or not, nobody cares. He just said something about Trump. Oh, yeah, Charlamagne said this. You do know he said something wrong, right? You do know he's an idiot, but they don't want that. So, no, but for real, good call out.
Celeste, I know you're itching. Go for it.
Well, I agree with what has been said before. Jay Witt is right. That beginning was a little bit childish. You know, my house is bigger than yours, and all of that. And I think he was correct when he said that programming, the Breakfast Club programming, is very much either created to keep the audience dumbed down, or it's actually meeting the audience where it is. I'm not sure. If the audience is smarter than that programming, then they should demand a little bit better of the host. But he is correct in that chapter 7 is often used in business to mitigate malinvestment. So people don't understand the profitability in losses. You can make a lot of money if you can show losses on paper. So oftentimes that's a strategy that people can use to up their losses. And the reason you need to up losses is when you've made so many gains. So oftentimes people want to appear to be losing to sort of offset or mitigate the huge amount of gains that they made. And Wise, you are absolutely correct. You do not luck into $1 billion. That is not correct. So I do think while he kind of went into it a little childish, and I do wish he had been a little bit thorough in his explanation, I do think he had a fair point in saying, why don't you bring a professional tax person or accountant on here to explain to you how a wealthy person can use Chapter 7. And to be perfectly honest, I really believe, particularly Envy with all of his real estate endeavors, I believe they know that. These are not people who don't know. I mean, they look stupid sitting there saying, I've worked for 15 years and I've never made any money. I mean, at that point, they're playing in his face. They were just playing in his face, and he knew that. And I think that's why he got a little frustrated and, started calling him dumb and, amping everything up, because he's like, you all know this, but you talk down to your audience. And it's, concerning to me that they talk down to that audience every day, and the audience doesn't seem to be offended by it.
Yeah, well, intelligent people, I don't think are watching the Breakfast Club like that. I think they're speaking to an audience that's probably reading at probably maybe a 5th, maybe would be generous, maybe 6th or 7th grade reading level. Those are the people that they're really speaking to. Unfortunately, I mean, it's sad to say, but anybody that's receiving any type of either financial information from Envy or Charlamagne, or political information from Charlamagne or Envy, I would say that they're definitely on the lower IQ side of things.
And relational. And that too.
Wise, I actually disagree. I
Really?
I think that's Kamala's audience. Okay. I have a degree. Okay. I have a career. I have all of that, right? Those people use academia to relate to intellect, and it's not one and the same. So I actually think most of that audience is the audience that pays all that money to go to these schools and absolutely get nothing out of it. Okay. I think he knows who he's talking to. Right. And so he perpetuates that, because there's absolutely no way that he doesn't know tax law. Okay, because once you get into a certain tax bracket, 6 figures and above,
You better know something.
yeah, you know. So no, I agree. Well, I disagree. I think that is the educated,
Well, I was
as they
saying
call
low
themselves.
IQ. I mean, I personally don't identify being
Mhm.
educated as being intelligent.
Correct,
True.
correct.
Correct.
But they will say that, especially
True.
to
Yeah,
conservatives. They like to
I've
say, "Oh, you have no degree, so you're not smart."
so you're not smart. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we talked. I mean, the viewers talked about that. You know, the
Yeah.
uneducated folks, really the unindoctrinated, really.
Yeah. Some of the biggest
That's really
fools I
what it
know
is.
are
And
educated.
Celeste and I, we've had these conversations. I know a multitude of people out there that have, you know, master's degrees and all the, they're not that intelligent. They're not. They're really not. Especially when you start asking them questions about what's going on in the world. You know. But Minister Danzel, get in there.
Yeah, man. I tell you, man. I thank you for that clip. First of all, man, I agree that audience is vast. That audience runs the gambit, and it's people that like to hear that kind of rhetoric, and they're from educated to the most uneducated. There's a very wide variety. But my point, my concern is that, and I've always said on this program is that this is what we have to do to people like Charlemagne the fraud. We have to nail them when they make a stupid statement at that moment and let them see how stupid they are, because the audience has to hear that regularly to realize that they're spending their time listening to somebody they don't know what they're talking about. um this man let Joe Biden come on his program and say in his face that if you do not vote for me, you ain't black. And Charlemagne didn't even have a comeback for him. I mean, so these people are again, this is the kind of mentality that a lot of our black people, unfortunately, are suffering from. You look at Dish Nation, and so many of these black programs, they don't minister truth and wisdom to our people, and yet they're indoctrinating our people, and they think they're smart and brilliant. And the only way to shut that down is to have somebody say something like that to them and really nail them when they talk foolish.
Go ahead, Crystal.
So it's interesting. I agree with Mika because we were just talking about that last night, the difference between educated and intelligent. Because a lot of people don't know there's a huge difference between
Big
it.
difference.
And he was talking to the people that are educated, those that like to tout their degrees, those that like to act like they're better than you. I know it was wrong for Dame to do what he was doing, but I think he was doing it because he was talking to those same people who think I'm better than you because of
Mm-hmm.
this. I'm better than you.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, yeah, let me see
I
your
get
house.
that.
What you talking about?
Yeah.
Let me see it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that was
so
it.
I feel like by now everybody should know Charlemagne the fraud. I mean, if that man don't double dutch all day long, one minute he's on this side, then he's on that side, he jumps over here, he jump over there. It's like, come on now. At this point, everyone should know Charlemagne the fraud, and you shouldn't be listening to him. But
Amen.
as we all agree, it's a certain group of people that sit and listen, and then they will say anything that you say is a lie, or
Mm-hmm.
you're a sellout, or
Mm-hmm.
you don't know any better. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
100%. You don't luck into a billionaire to being a billionaire because, please, I could have been lucked into be a billionaire a long time ago if that's the case. It don't work like that.
Mm-hmm.
These are people that understand what they're doing. They learn the system. They learn how to move around it,
Right.
and they learn all the loopholes. And instead of calling Donald Trump a bad businessman, why don't you sit down and investigate what he does and teach your people about what he
Mm-hmm.
does so that your people could get ahead? But you won't do that
No,
because
they don't want to do that.
it's
Why
better
would
to
they
They
do
keep
that?
them in
don't.
the crab in the bucket. It's better to keep them down and everybody in that stupid hamster wheel of just being a puppet for the system and calling it a day. That's all he wants to do.
Yeah, one of my guys, he was supposed to actually. I'm not even gonna say was supposed to. He was on the Breakfast Club. I don't know if I can say his name yet, but he was on the Breakfast Club. They
Mhm.
did not release the actual interview, and I mean, I got a chance to
That's
watch
bad.
it myself. I watched it already, and I mean, he dropped some gems
Yep.
for the Black community, and they would not put it out. It
Oh
hasn't
man,
come out yet.
you got to expose that, man.
It hasn't come
That's
out yet. I'll talk. I have
wow.
to talk to him before I can say
Please,
who it
please.
is. But I mean, he came through. I mean, he came through with a blueprint, and I think it would have been great
They
for
don't
the
want that.
masses out there to hear this type of information because it might have been the first time that they've had somebody like that, you know, that really came in and gave some solid information on that network or on that platform there. But I'm convinced that there's no interest in giving any information that would uplift the Black community. There's
Absolutely not.
zero interest in that.
Absolutely not. There's no interest in it, and I know what you're talking about, Waz, but no, there's zero interest in it, and on top of that, you just to speak to, I think it was Crystal's point. Yeah, that's Dame Dash knew who he was talking to, right? Lauryn Hill said it a long time ago. Like I'm very intellectual, but I put in the mother effers so the ignorant people hear me. Yeah, the ignorant people have to, and I do this with my own podcast, right? I say certain things that I know will grab the ignorant people's attention, by saying certain things like Ratchet Crockett or saying white people, right? Because certain types of people will gravitate to, well, why is she saying that? Because you have to know the type of people that you're dealing with, right? And in the entertainment industry, everybody is clickbait, everybody wants sound bites. And so in order to grab attention and to meet people where they are, yeah, he's like, okay, yeah. So what does your house look like? And the reason why I thought he brought that up is just to go on the tangent of saying, yeah, well, you've been doing this for 15 years. What does your house look like? Where do you live? Okay, so what are you using your finances to do? And then he kept going deeper and deeper. So he went surface level all the way to the business side. And it's a fact that a lot of people believe that conservatives are dumb. Wise, I can't tell you how many times on my post I have to see people tell me, oh, she's a dumb MAGA girl, when I have 2 degrees and then I have masters in accounting and mathematics. So half of the time I could calculate stuff just at the drop of a dime, right? But I don't put that forth because that has nothing to do with my intellect. That is a specific area that I'm good in, right?
Amen.
It's a specialized area. So I
Amen.
never put that forth. And a lot of conservatives don't.
Well, I would say that if you are on the conservative side of things, especially if you are a Black person or a quote unquote person of color, you're probably a lot more intelligent than your average because you've taken the time to do your own due diligence and research. More times than not, you're an avid reader. You've kind of gotten to the weeds and you've made a educated decision based off of what you've learned on your own, not what these people told you. Yeah. So yeah, I'm there with you on that one. But I got a couple super chats I want to read. Shout out to my guy Jeff with the $11 super chat from It's Not Your Fault, Al-Anon Recovery. He said, I'm not a representative. Good Lord, Jeff.
Jeff is something special.
Oh,
Love
my
Jeff.
goodness. I'm not a representation of a masculine Black man either, but I'm okay with that. Have a blessed day. Jeff, you're a nut, yo. Shout out to Jeff with the $11 super chat. Says, Charlie Kirk proved every video that being in college doesn't make you smart. In fact, it just makes you a parrot. Yeah, you're absolutely right there. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate you, brother. Yeah, well, I tell you, Jeff, you something else. All right, I want to move on. I want to talk about Memphis because the National Guard is headed to Memphis, I believe, next week, if I'm not mistaken. But you have some folks out there that want to tell you that things aren't as bad as people make it seem. And the reality is the numbers don't lie. I mean, Memphis has now earned the title of the deadliest city in America. I mean, homicides, carjackings out of control, families living in fear. And now the situation has gotten so bad that the National Guard is actually being called in. Troops in an American city just to keep the peace. And I'm 100% here for it. I got a couple clips I want to share with you guys real fast. And then just bear with me because it is a decent amount. And then we'll get back to the conversation.
Where I am from, and we got the Beale Street Flippers out, we got tourists out, we got people walking around. It looks pretty safe to me. I don't know why we need the National Guard, but I'm all for making things better as far as making it safe for all of us, but really, I feel like it's hyper sensationalized, to be quite honest. Crime is everywhere. Why Memphis got to be at the top of the list? I'm just saying, like, seems pretty safe to me. I'm walking freely, living my life, you know, making my way
Until you're not.
downtown, walking fast.
Fuck the troops.
Language.
They ass need to go be trying to go free Palestine. Why the fuck are they coming to Memphis for? They got bigger shit to worry about. Trump, what's going on with motherfucking Ukraine and shit? Russia and China and motherfucking Germany and all that. What's going on? Why the fuck y'all worry about Memphis? Lost. I'm fucking lost. Then we're gonna have to worry about these motherfuckers being in the lines at all our food places and shit, trying to try food and shit.
And an authorization to send what he calls a federal task force to a city along Arkansas's border. He says it will be similar to the multi-agency federal action in D.C., which included deploying the National Guard. Nicole Valdez is in Memphis, Tennessee, and shares how locals are feeling about the federal help.
Everything good for y'all today?
Good.
For 20 years, Mike Miller's owned Patrick's Restaurant in East Memphis. He's optimistic a federal task force could help make the city safer.
So you welcome the National Guard here?
Yes.
And for those who say they don't, what do you say?
This is an opportunity for us and for our city. I hope we make the most of it.
Mayor Paul Young is against it.
I want to be clear, I did not ask for the National Guard, and I don't think it's the way to drive down crime.
The Trump administration has already deployed Guard troops to Los Angeles and Washington, D.C. on a so-called mission to clean up crime. A CBS News data team review of FBI statistics showed that Memphis had the highest rate of violent crime of all major U.S. cities last year. But Memphis police data shows there was a decrease in violent crime in the first 9 months of this year. Ravonda Ligon's 23-year-old son, John Ryan Ingram, was shot and killed trying to break up a fight nearly 3 months ago.
If they're going to be a buffer between them and the police to help minimize the crime, then that's a great thing.
No one is really talking about the real root issues of crime.
Amber Sherman grew up here. The lifelong activist worries federal troops could do more harm than good.
I think it's also the wrong response, of course, to what's happening in Memphis, but also ignores all the work that we've been doing over the last 2-3 years to really make sure that community members have what they need so they aren't committing crimes.
While President Trump didn't say just how soon we could see those troops, he did say the effort will involve more than just the National Guard. Other agencies like the FBI, ATF, even the U.S. Marshals are too being tapped for this new task force.
7 shootings have been reported since last Friday morning, one incident leading to a homicide in South Memphis. But it's one shooting incident that happened during broad daylight Saturday morning that has some Memphians wondering if the National Guard will make any real change. A shooting in broad daylight near A.W. Willis Avenue and Front Street in downtown Memphis Saturday morning has some Bluff City residents wondering if the National Guard coming will change the city's crime reputation.
No, it ain't gonna bring the change that we need to see, but it might help with the crime a little bit. But change, it's gonna take more than some police to come down here for to change the city.
We're going to Memphis.
Since President Trump uttered these words on Friday, according to Memphis police, 7 shootings were reported. In 3 of those cases, MPD made an arrest. One resulted in a homicide. Memphis resident Asaya Cobb claims the shooting incident on Saturday morning will continue with or without troops being deployed to the area.
I do feel like crime happens everywhere, but I just think it was crazy that it just happened in broad daylight like that. And I think these are target shootings, not just going on a rampage on people.
Jules Simpson, a lifelong Memphis resident, believes the troops coming to Memphis is a waste of financial resources.
I don't think that it's actually about trying to help Memphis at all. I think that it's posturing and bullying, and it's completely unnecessary.
Again, MPD has made 3 arrests in the 7 reported shootings since last Friday. Police will continue searching for those suspects from Saturday's shooting.
Memphis, I think I've said that before, and as you all know, there is a plan for the National Guard and other federal law enforcement to come to Memphis under some crime reduction plan that Trump is trying to put in place. And there's been a lot of discussion about that and a lot of talk about that, including a lot of criticism, I think warranted criticism of the mayor, who has seemed to be a little too willing to go along with this plan. But I want to provide a different perspective. Memphis is a place that is all too familiar with political violence, right? It is the place, unfortunately, where Martin Luther King was assassinated. And the people who live in that city, particularly our elders, remember that assassination, and they remember everything that happened afterwards, including the National Guard coming to the city of Memphis. And I was talking with some of my family members about, just kind of what they're doing to prepare for the National Guard to be there, how they're feeling. And one of my family members said something to me that I hadn't even put this connective tissue together. But she was like, I hadn't really ever seen the National Guard or tanks or anything like that come to Memphis since Martin Luther King was killed. And she was 8 when that happened. And so what no one has talked about is how re-traumatizing the presence of federal law enforcement and militarized federal law enforcement will be for the people who live in that city. That there are elders who live there, who were alive, who remember what it felt like to be there during that time. Like, she was telling me like how they couldn't go to school for a few days, and it was a really scary time, and things kind of shut down in the city, and she was really afraid that was going to happen again. And it just made me so sad, because why should my family, why should my elders be subjected to that type of trauma again, so that someone can feel like a tyrant and a king? And the fact that no one is taking that into serious consideration is really bothering me. It's really, really bothering me, because I always say, and I've been saying it to a lot of people this week, I don't need no lectures on the effects of political violence. I don't need any lectures about what it means to take the life of a young man from his wife and his children for his political speech. I'm from Memphis. I am acutely and keenly aware of what the consequences of political violence, of assassination is on the life of a man, of his family, and on a city and a people in a community. I don't need those lectures. I was raised in it, baby. Born and bred.
Right now. Y'all got shot multiple times, man. It's dangerous out here.
You guys are strapped?
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 13.
This is Memphis, the most violent city in America.
This graph shows the violent crime trend in Memphis dating back nearly 40 years. The last few years have been the most violent in the city's history.
Are you on any drugs today? Yeah.
I got shot. My arm. I got shot. Side, back.
I didn't expect that. So many people to get shot.
Your brother got shot in front of me. That's funny.
Funny?
You can just walk over to the store, come out, you get hit, you dead.
While violent crime in America decreased 6%, Memphis's violent crimes rose 7%, robberies rose 20%, rapes rose 41%, and murders rose 34%, breaking Memphis's own homicide record again. But why is Memphis becoming more violent despite violence in America trending down? And what can be done to fix it? First, I want to see if everyday people in Memphis feel safe on a day-to-day basis. Does shit go down at night here?
Daytime too.
Daytime too?
The city is safe or as dangerous as you make it.
What do you mean?
I mean, you don't go where you don't belong.
We're trying to ask some families out here, basically, if they feel safe out here in downtown Memphis.
Most times, kind of, sort of.
No, I'm just saying I don't go places I got no business being.
You don't belong in downtown Memphis?
Well, I didn't say that. I'm here, aren't I?
Anyone should be fine right here, yeah?
That would be my expectation.
All right.
I have no words. That's
a lot to get through. But Jason, go wherever you want to go with it. What are your thoughts on the National Guard? What are your thoughts on? I want someone to talk about the young lady who was talking about.
I have a lot to say about the young lady.
Somebody go ahead. Jason,
I'll let y'all start. Go ahead.
Okay. That argument about the trauma of people, therefore you shouldn't do something, has got to be the lowest IQ, smoothest brain argument on the planet. Like her brain is smoother than my head, because if the argument is 50 years ago, Your aunt was traumatized because she saw tanks after MLK. What about the people that just watch these young YNs running up and down the street playing Call of Duty in real time? Does that not traumatize people? Does that woman, that son was deleted 3 months ago? Is she not traumatized? Is a woman? I mean, come on, that's just silliness. So don't send help because my auntie might have repercussions of when she couldn't go to school when she was 8. Say that out loud for yourself. Okay, I just took notes and I'm just going to go over my notes real quick and then I'm going to get out of here. First video, the guy was wandering around the street looking with the fat tongue. That dude, do that at 3 o'clock in the morning and show me what happens. Live stream you walking in that same place, 3 o'clock in the morning. I'll tune in to watch and I'll have 911 on speed dial. Next, the YN talking about Memphis versus the world. It's possible the dude has smoked his brain out. It's very possible that his brain was smoked out. This is your brain on weed. So you would rather the president of the United States be more concerned about Germany, Ukraine, and all these other places than a city within the United States. This is your brain on YN. Next, the needs, the whole needs versus the crime. The woman that looks like she was in a museum or art gallery or whatnot, saying what the community needs versus crime. Ma'am, crime is a problem. Don't insert everybody needs white shoelaces. That's why people kill each other. No, people kill each other, and that needs to be an issue. We can worry about shoelaces and needs after the fact. This is the exact same ignorant argument that Brandon Johnson used, talking about we can reduce crime by people not smoking on the trains. Like you're insane. The mom that said that they need a buffer. They do need a buffer. That's what we saw in DC. The National Guard provided a means for the police to get their arms around the problem. Right. And start bringing some civility back to the community. It's not going to be a fix all, and they're not going to be there forever. But why not work with them to get it under wraps? Because I see a lot of people doing this. They see the government and they don't see themselves as a role in helping to take care of their community. They just sit there with their thumbs twiddling, watching the government stumble and fall, saying, see, they ain't doing anything. Then they see the president come in and say, oh, no, see, he's trying to militarize the city, but you're not doing anything yourself. That dude with those gold teeth, I thought it was very interesting. He said it's not going to, what did he say? It might reduce the crime, but it's not going to change anything. Okay. And the very last thing I'm going to say, and I'm going to go ahead and put myself in timeout. Was it not funny that they were talking to that white woman and y'all, what did y'all call her? A towel, that old white liberal?
Yeah.
Was it not serendipitous that she was at a gas station? Yeah. I bet you $10 she doesn't live in the area that they're talking about. They probably met her over at doggone Whole Foods gas station, and she on her way to the nice, safe side of town, talking about what black folk don't need. Y'all make that make sense. I'm out of here.
Amen.
Celeste, I know you want to get in there. Go ahead.
Okay, so there is a pervasive fallacy that has been going on, let's say 40, definitely 40, possibly 50 years, that crime is tied to sociological factors like poverty, racism, and the reason for that is something that Dinesh D'Souza would call a meta lie.
Mm-hmm.
The reason we are not able to fix crime is because we have tied crime to sociological conditions. The way you remedy sociological conditions is by managing the environment in which those conditions appear. That is not the way you reduce crime. Crime is antisocial behavior. And it wasn't very long ago when we used to characterize criminals as antisocial people. Right. You do not remedy antisocial behavior with managing sociological conditions, which is why in these blue cities, every place they have tried to send a social worker and a psychologist, and they've tried to say education in the schools and use all of these sociological management of these sociological conditions, crime continues to rise and it becomes more pervasive and it becomes more deadly and more dangerous. Because it is not stopped, and that which that isn't stopped continues. We all know The laws of physics say if you don't, anything in motion will remain in motion until acted upon by an equal and opposite force. Using sociological methods to handle antisocial behavior is not acting with an equal and opposite force. What is, in fact, an equal and opposite force is punishment. Punishment deters and punishment stops crime. And we rarely see in these blue areas where there is as large, widespread adherence to this type of psychology, we rarely ever see people extol the virtues of punishment. Punishment is virtuous. It is virtuous to punish the few so that the mass can live safely. That is a virtuous thing to do. What they think is virtuous to do is to hand out lunches and to read and have story time and to start and to up everybody's food stamps and to pay everyone's rent and all of this management of these sociological conditions and factors that persist in these places never mitigate crime. The only thing that mitigates crime and has mitigated crime since the history of human beings, this has never changed. Since the history of human beings is punishment. Antisocial behavior must be met by the equal and opposite force, and that is punishment. It
Can't
is
make
a
no money like that.
it is a fool's errand to hand out food and to give all of this love and support in the name of trying to reduce crime.
Excellent. Excellent.
I think the brother with the gold teeth, I think what he was saying is, yes, it would stop the crime, but it won't change anything. What he was talking about was the mindset of the people. The people in Memphis and a lot of these other places in these communities that aren't great, they got a heart problem. They got a heart problem. They don't, they don't fear death and they don't care about life. We hear about it here in Baltimore City. They don't fear death and they do not care about the sanctity of life. And I think that's what he was talking about. He's like, yeah, they cure the crime, but it's not going to change the mindset of these people. And until that happens, I mean, we're probably going to continue to have the same type of behavior in these communities. Crystal, I know you wanted to go. We'll allow you to go.
Yeah. I was saying exactly what I have a list here, so I want to go through this list. Jason said it, and I agree because I was watching that man record and talking about it's safe here. I don't know what you're talking about, sir. Sir, stop it. Because you're gonna sit down there when everything is safe. I'm sure I saw a cop around it. You gonna say it's safe? You gonna say that now? Please do it when it's dark. Do it when the cops is not around, and tell me how you feel then. Let me know how that works out.
Hey, Crystal, it looked like it was about 9 o'clock in the morning there as well.
Exactly.
It looked like
like, do better. Why? Like, stop acting like we don't have common sense around here. See, that's that Democrat mindset. But I ain't gonna go there. The YN, I'm not. Listen, he looked like he was higher than a kite. So I wasn't even listening to anything he was saying because nothing he was saying was making sense. He was higher than a kite. Let's be real. The mayor, I'm glad somebody put in the comments that the mayor said he doesn't agree with it, but he's going to accept it. He better, because if I'm not mistaken, I was just checking here. The mayor was a victim of an attempted kidnapping. So clearly crime is a problem when they had to stop someone from kidnapping you. That is clearly a problem. You need help. So to sit down here and say we don't need the help, but the mayor was like literally the person got to his house. The person had a taser, gloves, and duct tape and everything and rope ready to take the mayor. Come on now. So don't say you don't have we don't need it when people are actually about to take you away. The activist said that they've been working on this for years. Hey, so you said you've been working on this for years and y'all have now become number one in crime. What does that tell you? Clearly what you've been doing has not been working. So to make that statement, you sound
Ask for Celeste to make the statement.
Ridiculous. The man, and I agree with what you were saying about the man with the gold teeth, because the thing is they walk around with a reprobate mind. They want to celebrate this lawlessness. That guy was interviewing, and that was a 13-year-old. spare the rod, spoil the child. That is why that is why there are 13-year-olds running around with hoodies on, masks in their face, committing crimes, talking about they're gonna pop this person, pop that person, because nobody ain't popped them. Like somebody should have been dealt with them. I'm telling you, growing up as a child, I could not be cutting up like that because I wouldn't have been able to sit down. Let's be real. I couldn't do that. But these kids, they're just running amok all over the place and no one is training the child. And lastly, Miss MLK trauma. Ma'am, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life because people love to pull that MLK card. I just had somebody here, you know, why I got TikTok up over here, going to pull the MLK thing on me. Stop pulling MLK. You think MLK is like a buzzword and I'm supposed to say, whoa. They said MLK. Let us stop now because they pulled the MLK. Stop. You're trying to tell me that your grandma can't go to the grocery store and pick up something without ducking bullets, and that's not traumatic to her? Your auntie cannot go to the salon and get her hair done without ducking bullets, and that is not traumatizing to her. Your sister can't walk down the street without being afraid because they said, let me use the social media word, without being afraid of SA happening to her, and that's not traumatizing to her. But the troops coming because of what happened during MLK, that's the trauma that you're worried about.
Not making sense.
The reprobate mind, and that's why the man said that the mindset, because this is the thing, they are arguing against help. So that's to tell you the mindset that they have. Because yes, help will come in, they will do what they need to do, but these people, they want to stay in the gutter. That's the truth. They want to stay in the gutter, and that's the problem. Until they get out of that mindset and want something better. And the thing is, I'll give it one step further, and it's because the help is coming from Donald Trump, because they're racist in themselves, because that's right, because they don't like Donald Trump, because he's Donald Trump, he's MAGA. They are so upset about that. They would rather cut their nose off to spite their face because it's Donald Trump. I don't want his help. So I'll stay in the gutter. I won't allow my children to have a safe life. I won't do the things necessary for a better neighborhood for my family. No, because Orange Man is bad. And that is my frustration with these people.
Mika, we're going to get you in there. I mean, Memphis is the deadliest city in the country. It's the deadliest city in the country. And it made the top 50 deadliest cities in the world list. I mean, it's crazy out there, man. It's
world is crazy.
And the thing is that it's the top. It made the top 50 list in the world as most deadliest cities in the world. I mean, we're talking about places like, you know, Medellin and other countries out in other countries out in Africa where they don't have any type of government. You know what I'm saying? It's
third world countries.
And third world countries, and Memphis made the top 50 list. It is wild out there. And the thing is that any of you guys, well, I'm from down south. Memphis been like this for a very long time. It's been like this for a very long time. It just, for whatever reason, because it's Memphis, it hadn't really made the made the national stage because it's Memphis. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that the city is probably like 80% Black. And I think that plays a role in it as well. A lot of folks, they don't want to talk about it. And the thing about Memphis too is it's been Democrat led for over 100 years. From the mayor, city council, school board. I mean, it's been a Democrat stronghold for a very long time. We could get in there. What are your thoughts?
Not the dog catcher, child. Okay. First off, everybody said some great things, but I want to start using verbiage from a great scholar, Jasmine Crockett. She said, just because you commit a crime doesn't mean you're a criminal. All right. And I want to start out with that because that is her constituents and most Black and brown, because they always like to attach brown to it. So, okay. But that is the mindset of most of these cities. Okay. And so when you have that mindset, you cannot correct these people. You cannot correct it. So I have a little list of things that I saw. So first, I want to get into Saucy Santana at the beginning, okay? Because Saucy Santana knows absolutely that if you go out there at night, it's going to be different, especially for him, okay? He sounds exactly like the white liberals here in DC, because I grew up in upper Northwest DC, right? Which at the time that I was growing up, it's affluent, okay? It's close to Georgetown, and you know, it's where all the white liberals actually lived. They didn't live on the other side, they didn't live on east of the river, right? They didn't live in Southeast. And so their experience is different. But now, because you have a different generation, you're actually seeing people say, okay, yeah, I don't want to live like this. I don't want to just use the excuse that racism and this and that and the third. But those voices are never heard. In DC, it's tons of people that are speaking out. But they don't play those on the news. They play the white liberals downtown. They play the race baiters, the Antifas. They play all of those, okay? They go and get Don Limon to go outside and talk to certain groups of people. They don't talk to actual people on the east side of the river, because they know the response that they're going to get. Second, I want to approach the whole the crime is down situation, because when you talk about the crime is down from what? From 1,000? Because if I had 1,000 murders and I mean it's down to 800, the crime is down. The crime is absolutely down. But it's absolutely atrocious that 800 people died in my city. And so they're playing semantics because, like I said, they understand that people don't understand that. Instead of saying how many people died per year, they'll go and say, well, you know, it's 18% less than last year. 18% from what number? What is the actual number?
Come on, Mika.
Right? Okay. That's the other thing that gets on my nerves. Number 3, the Let Freedom Ring lady and her aunt or her grandma. Those though I love elderly people to death because I grew up with my grandparents, right? Because my parents were young. But I'm going to tell you right now, that generation, black and white, I can't wait until we don't have to listen to that. And I'm going to tell you why I say that, right? Because when people hear it, it gets jarring. But the reason why I say that is because there's such a trauma there that you literally can't get past it on both sides. And they use that to fuel the rest of the generations, right? That woman said, well, why does my grandmother have to deal with it? Ma'am, you've never dealt with the National Guard in that way. Every generation has something different going on. Every generation has something different going on. So with that being said, you can't use your grandmother's generation to speak to something. And that's what I don't like. That's what I don't like about this whole thing. She's using her grandmother's generation to speak to this generation when this generation hasn't gone through nearly a fraction of any of that. And so to use that to try to talk about the National Guard instead of using for what it can actually do to help right now is just disingenuous. It's that argument period is disingenuous to me. Fourth, Jasmine Crockett's son, I don't know why he took that long of a pause in between every time he talked. He had to like take a breath. Like that's a serious lung problem. But here's the problem that I have with it. He's saying, okay, well, you know, bringing them here isn't going to do anything. Yeah, because he understands the mindset of the YN. The YN is just going to go inside and hide until it's safe to come out again, because the constituents, the people, the residents, they don't stand up for their own communities. I can police you to death, but if you don't police yourself, if you have no integrity in your own communities, where if somebody drops a piece of trash, it's not your trash, but you still pick it up because you care about your community. It's the same with the people. Yeah, you're not, those are not your kids, but you still grab them by the collar because they're your kids. They're kids in your community. And we've gotten to this point where it's just, oh well, the kids, it's not my kid, so I can't say nothing. The way I grew up is, if she saw you and she saw you, by the time you got back home, you got slapped from her, and now your mama about to get you. Okay. And so that's a community. I don't see communities anymore. I see a bunch of a bunch of people, a bunch of black and brown people congregating in one area. That's usually what I see. Right. And so there's your crime. And then the mayor. The mayor is playing both sides. And unfortunately, when you are a Democrat and let's say he potentially wants to do right, he can't, because his own party is saying to him, you cannot work with the president. So he has to make it look like, well, I didn't ask them to come here, but we could kind of use the help with this, that, and the third, to try to actually get around, the backlash, when it shouldn't be backlash of trying to keep the people in your city safe. Right. And then you're saying, I don't want the president's help. My whole thought process on all of this is just to say, I say, leave these cities be. I say, do what the constituents asked. Because at the end of the day, we can blame the politicians all we want. I don't see the 98% fighting for anything else other than to be in these crime-ridden communities. That we're over police, we're this and that. Okay, don't give it to them. Right? But they'll use that same argument to come back and say, well, we don't get any help. They don't give us the resources. They send the resources to the white communities, but you don't want the resources. So it's a never-ending cycle. And that's how they perpetually keep this system going on. So my thought process to Donald Trump is, let them be. Go to the mayors and to the governors that want the help, and let people see, just like here in DC, what the crime actually is and what it could be.
Yeah. I got a question for you, Minister Danzel, and then you can kind of go wherever you want to go with it. I mean, who's the real racist? The man that's trying to go in and save black lives, or the people that want to allow black people to continue to get killed, by the hundreds? Who's the real racist here?
The real racist is the man that said, you don't vote for him, you ain't black. The real racist is that man right there. I'm telling you.
You see, thank you for the panel has done an excellent job addressing this. So I'm not going to be too long on this, but I just want to say that I appreciate Sister Celeste's breakdown of what really stops crime. And I think that you have to understand that the Democratic city rulers don't want crime to be stopped. So they won't follow the proper process, because when they can claim they have a crime problem, they have a reason to ask for a lot of money. That money that they can get and put in their pocket and provide for their fellow friends, and use it as an excuse to keep this money coming in. So it's really unfortunate that it's clear that there are clear solutions. And as Sister Celeste said, you stop crime by having greater crime enforcement, law enforcement. No question about that. That's not brain science. But I will mention two of the people that was in the program. The brother that was saying that Trump ought to go to another country and take care of it, take care of them. It's because he was a criminal. He's a criminal in Memphis. He don't need nobody coming over there trying to stop him doing his crime. So that was the logic of what he was saying. And then the brother that had the gold teeth that was telling about I don't see nothing going on here. Remember, the criminals do their dirt mostly at nighttime. By morning time, they're sleeping. They're tired. So next is going to be probably the safest time during the day. So I thank God for you guys. Again, it's sad that so many people are willing to drink the Kool-Aid and pretend like they don't know what's going on, and that Trump, that orange man is bad man. Unlike other than everything else that Sister Mika said, I don't think Trump should abandon him, because this is his time in office. He has responsibility. He need to take them, go in there and straighten things out and let people see what it could be if they will let the right people in politics do their job in those cities.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I mean, if you recall, maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago, Al Sharpton and a few others were like, well, what about the bad cities, in red states?
Yeah.
And now, we have Tennessee, red state, Memphis, blue
Yep.
city. And
Yep.
they were like, hey, what about those cities? Now, if you think about it, there are a few red states out there that have some cities that are just terrible. Memphis is the worst one of the bunch,
Yep.
but you have
Yep.
St. Louis, you have Kansas City, which is in Missouri, which is a red state. You got New Orleans down there in Louisiana. I think Louisiana is kind of purple. But then you look at Mississippi. I think Mississippi's red state, but you got Jackson, which is crazy. Yeah. So I'm more along the lines of with you, Minister Denzel, is that, hey, how about we get some federal resources down in there? And people keep saying this is the National Guard, but it's not just the National Guard. They're actually putting out, it's a full federal task force of, they're pulling people from different agencies to go down and help. Exactly. To go down and help. And the thing is that all of these places, if you are a black person and you're out here, with your fist up and you love black people, why would you be upset? Why would you be upset that the president is saying, hey, we are going to come to help slow down, if not cease the homicides in these cities?
Right.
Precisely.
Well, why would you be upset about that? Seriously,
And you're the number
why
one
would you
crime
be upset
city,
about
too.
that?
And you're the number one crime in the world. This you can't forget that. But in the world, that is irrational.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, man. It really doesn't. It's an irrational way of thinking, to be honest with you. But a lot of it has to do with the fact that Democrats don't want President Trump to get any wins.
No credit.
And that's probably the biggest thing. They don't want him getting any wins. If this was Biden doing this, or if Kamala would have won and she was doing this, they would tout her as, hey, she's she's the savior for black folks. But they didn't have any interest in doing that because, I mean, we also know that there's a lot of money made around this crime ecosystem.
Absolutely.
From the hospitals, the lawyers, the jail system, the prison system, there's a lot of money, wrapped. And let's not forget the nonprofits, because that one lady, with the afro, the heavier set lady, she was talking about the nonprofit organizations, and they receive federal resources to quote unquote help go in here and quote unquote quell crime, but they don't actually do that. And people need to understand about these nonprofits. They only have to spend about 5% of the money on the actual issue that they say they want to address.
Come on, brother.
The rest of the money can go to everything and everybody else.
And then
whoever owns it, the CEO is probably getting, super large salaries.
Why it's profitable. That's why it's profitable.
Come on,
so
brother.
there's a lot of money in that.
Right.
Hey, we'll send some social workers out there, and they'll get a grant for $500,000.
Well, as you know, in Baltimore, they're doing that right now.
Yeah, they're doing it right now. Yeah.
He talks about, and don't get me wrong, I don't have an issue with the mayor. Like I actually know him, but he's a part of that whole Democratic regime. He can't say what's really actually going on.
Yeah.
And he keeps saying, well, we have these crime prevention programs, prevention programs. Well, you got all these programs. Why are the kids still doing the same thing? Why are they in the same areas? What are you actually doing? No, you're just siphoning the money off the same communities. And I don't understand why the communities don't understand. I was just on a podcast and they won't understand that. They're like, oh, Donald Trump wants to come into these communities. I'm like, your leaders are the liberals, not Donald Trump. Donald Trump just got back here. What's been happening in your community? Isn't it the liberals? They'll go, but the Republicans. There's no Republicans here. There's no Republicans in DC. There's no Republicans in Baltimore. It's one Republican in Maryland, and I don't think most people even know her. So at the end of the day, what are we talking about?
Yes.
That's that reprobate mind that I said, because they take that money. They take that money.
Republican representative in the state. Out of the 8, we got one.
Gerrymandering at its finest.
We got one. Come on now. In Baltimore City, that would be like me walking through the Inner Harbor in the middle of the day, 11, 12, 1 o'clock, walking through the Inner Harbor and saying, see, look, hey, Baltimore's safe. There's nothing going on in Baltimore.
Right?
Or walking through Harbor East and saying, at 12 or 1 o'clock, they got their own security out there. You know what I'm saying? They say like, hey, Baltimore is safe. It's great out here. You don't have any issues out there. Yeah. As long as you stay in inner city, in the inner harbor, Harbor East, Canton, Fells Point, if you stay over in there, you straight. Walk a couple blocks north and see what happens
What's
to
that
you.
mall wise? Madonna?
Oh man, please. I've never been there before. I know
Somebody
of
said,
the
yeah,
mall,
go to
but I've
this
never
store at
been there
Madonna. And I
before.
got there. I said, no, thank you.
No, I've never been there before. I know there's a lot of craziness that goes on. As long as I've lived up here, I've never gone to that mall. Never.
I mean, wise, but be real. Be real. We all know the neighborhoods where not to go
Where not to go.
and,
Absolutely.
and where to go and say, look, we're right here in the neighborhood. No, you're not. We all know you're not there. Stop lying.
You know
We
where to go
to
and where not to go. And that's one of those places that I don't frequent. I don't really frequent Baltimore City like that outside of the inner harbor, the places that I named. The inner harbor, Fells Point, Harbor East, Canton. Outside of that, nah, I'm good. It's not safe.
Right.
It's just not.
Excellent.
And you see dope fiends and all this other kind of stuff lean in. It's just crazy. It's just crazy.
Wow.
There's a couple
And
super
that's
chats
why
I want to
I
read.
didn't understand why they didn't why they were making this thing about homeless people. I'm sorry, unhoused people. They just come up with these new names. I'm like, no, that's not unhoused. You're homeless.
Language. Come on. I want to talk about that later. Yes.
Oh, they're
Go ahead.
masters of language. They're
Yes,
masters of
but
language.
they kept using that, and I'm like, do you understand that a lot of these people have mental illnesses? And here in DC, I'm pretty sure it's everywhere, but here in DC, they closed down St. Elizabeth to put, the WNBA stadium that makes absolutely no money, right? So they put that there instead of keeping people off the street that should have been kept off the street. If you really cared about people's mental health, you wouldn't have tore that down. And it wasn't a Republican that tore that down. It was a liberal. And then they put them into your communities, just like they did with the immigrants.
That's right.
The illegal immigrants. They put them in your communities because you don't see the homeless people over there in Georgetown.
Mika, Mika, it's not illegal immigrant. It's undocumented citizens.
come on.
I'm sorry. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely undocumented citizens. I forget.
Yeah, it's sad. I got a couple super chats I want to read real quick. Shout out to Amethyst Angel with the $5 super chat. Says they'll go into debt. They'll go into debt for everything except a high value attorney. You pay the price of pay it twice. Can't you include legal fees in bankruptcy? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you can include legal fees or not. I'm not sure. I think you got to pay that on your own. Shout out to Malachi with the $5 super chat. Says Anton did share a clip of the Memphis mayor saying that he doesn't think the National Guard is necessary, but he's open to preparing for it and accepting help. I think he has to say that to save face. I think I think deep down he's like,
if you almost been kidnapped, you better take the help. I'm just saying.
The crazy part is though, everybody else got those mayors and stuff. Why do they have details? If it's nothing going on, why do you have the detail?
Because it's safe.
Well, y'all saw the clips of when Brandon Scott and Governor Moore was walking in Baltimore City. If y'all would have seen how much security they had around them.
Oh, come on.
Did you see that? Did you see the guy? The guy that was like, was like, all of this and how much this cost?
Yep. They had tons of security around them walking down, and they were walking in broad daylight.
Of course.
They wouldn't dare do that at night.
They need to drop their security. You have no security, and I want you to walk through those places at night and tell me that it's safe.
Oh no, the YN is gonna get them.
Shout out to LJ Taylor with the $5 super chat. Says Democrat, if YNs en route to kill came across a community center with cool games and mentors, they would put their guns down and grab a basketball.
I love that, LJ. Yes.
Thank you, LJ.
Yes.
Thank you. LJ Taylor with the $2 super chat says, my great granddaddy had to fight. I got you. Yes. Kiwan Lynette with the $5 super chat says, you're so right. If this was Kamala, they'd be giving her the Nobel Peace Prize. Y'all know it. Absolutely. If it was any Democrat, had Biden said, hey, we got to clean these cities up, they would have been all over it. Like, yeah, that's absolutely right. But because it's Trump,
Amen.
And because it's the Republicans, they're saying, no. And the crazy thing is what they're telling the constituents, the Democrats. And Mika, I saw the clip of you on that podcast. It sounded like it looked like you and Van were surrounded by a bunch of liberals. What was the consensus there? I didn't get a chance to watch it.
Yeah, that's what it was. The consensus there was that when you give them all the information, what's the intent, right? They kept combating the help at every point. Even when I told them, because my entire family is on MPD, okay? Even when I told them they are cooking the books, the police officers actually are tired of it, and they talk amongst themselves. There has been multiple lawsuits. One lady just won one, right, in 2020. And then now you have another one. They don't want to actually say what's going on. And for some reason, the people that vote for these people, they rationalize it. I don't know how you can logically do these things, but they rationalize it. And that's what everybody there was doing, because I had to keep bringing it back to, even though we're talking about Donald Trump's DC takeover, I'm like, Donald Trump hasn't been here. And at the time it had only been going on for like 2 weeks. And I'm like, y'all been complaining about the YNs for how long? So why hasn't Muriel Bowser done anything? Right? And they're like, well, lack of funds. What are you talking about? You got taxation without representation. They taxing you out the wazoo. They get funding. They get federal funding from every state.
Everywhere.
They could do something if they wanted to, but they don't.
They don't.
Yep.
That's it. Excellent.
Well, and the crazy thing is, when that happened, they had the first week in 35 years without a homicide in DC.
Correct.
That's right.
The first week in 35 years without a homicide. You have some people that hadn't been on this planet the last time they had a week without a homicide.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Yes.
Hey, let me jump in real quick.
People are still go for it, Jason.
Okay, I need everybody to go ahead, grab your tinfoil hat, put your tinfoil hat on. I got an idea. If Donald Trump is doing this, knowing that the Democrats are going to push back on it, but the people see, we have proof and evidence that it worked in DC. Just like you said, Wise, first time in 35 years, you haven't had a homicide. And DC might, hopefully if they get their arms around it, it will improve. So Chicago, Memphis, and all these other places where the boogily black don't want their help, they're going to see like, dang, we could have it like that. Why can't we have it like that? And they're going to start looking at those capitals. They're going to start looking at those city councils and the city halls and say, you're the reason why we can't be like DC. You're the reason why these YNs are still running. So I don't know if Donald Trump ever intended to come to Chicago, but he sure stirred up enough ruckus that people are looking at Brandon Johnson, and he's looking more and more silly day over day because they're still running amok.
Yeah.
And they could have had them rascals in there helping them out.
That's right.
So I'm just wondering, is this a move to help? I hate to say it like this. Is this a political move to help bring in more Republican, center-minded leaders in these places where they've just been running amok? Because imagine Chicago could go purple. Imagine Chicago became really a toss-up.
Well, Jason, you know about Chicago flip red, right?
No, I love Chicago flips red. I'm trying to get. I was about to get there. I was going to say, imagine Chicago just turned red, because you realize the only reason Illinois is blue is because of Chicago.
Because of Chicago.
Chicago flip red. That would be and why is Chicago in the place that it is? Because of their leadership. What if all of this was a ploy and a move? Same thing in LA. It was a move for people to say, "Wow, we could have it better." We really could have it better. We really don't have to be living like this.
That's what it is.
That's exactly what it is.
Y'all are the problem. And I'm just wondering maybe why he did it.
Yeah, they see who's the problem. Now
very
you
much
just
be
see it.
Go ahead, Celeste.
Yes.
And well, yes, I 100% agree with you, Jason. And I think what it also does, not only does it for the people on the ground who are living in those communities, who then see the sort of the before and the after, we could call it DT, before Donald Trump and after Donald Trump. If there's a measurable difference, But what it also does is it forces the Democrats into an impossible national conversation right before the 2026 midterms, which
That's
means
right.
they
Yep.
have to defend crime, which is a 90-10. Nobody
Yes.
wants to defend crime, and
Yep.
they are backed up against the wall, possibly, like you said, in Memphis and maybe in some of these other cities where it's where the evidence is that people are, the quality of life is improved, say
Yeah.
post DT. And now nationally, Democrats have to run in 2026 defending crime.
Mm.
So Celeste, you do know that Jasmine Crockett will defend that to the death. Okay. And that the YNs are not an actual problem. It is the white supremacists that are in these communities doing everything. Just I just want to
But hold on, and
Well,
don't forget that the cops are there not to prevent crime; they're just there to solve it. Remember that.
That's crazy.
Remember that.
Yeah.
Well, you're absolutely correct. And the problem is, well, I believe she's been redistricted out of her seat. However, I don't even know that.
That's so nice. That's so nice to say. She got squiggly lined out.
We have to deal with her as a congressperson. But the issue is, and you're 100% right, the more they are forced to go in public and make statements like what you just said, bless your heart, that just because you commit a crime doesn't mean you're a criminal, which is a definitional offense. There is no other definition of a criminal except one who commits a crime. So that is a definitional offense. The more they are forced to do that, the worse they look in the eyes of the public writ large. These people have to vote for them. You have to get the middle. They have to have the middle. The far left is not enough to elect anybody.
Right.
Far left can't get a dog catcher on
That's
their
right.
own. They have to get what is called the persuadable middle. You
right.
can't persuade anybody telling them that just because you commit a crime doesn't mean you're a criminal, and that white, as you say, white supremacy is the reason for crime.
And just because you come into our country illegally, don't make you an illegal.
That's fact.
He is forcing them into actually ruining their own electoral prospects. And they
That's
are
my
so
point.
deranged.
Come on, Celeste,
that
come
they
on.
can't see it. It's almost like people who are self-cutting in an effort to stop the bleeding. He is making them cut themselves. And as they're cutting themselves, they're going, I'm going to stop the bleeding. Slash, slash, slash. It is the most insane thing to watch.
That's
Can
why
I just point out again?
Wow.
Can I just point out again everything that we just said?
Wow.
Jasmine Crockett is the perfect example of education versus intelligence.
No, you're absolutely correct. And Celeste, that's why when they say, well, Donald Trump wants to be authoritarian, that's why he keeps taking this to court. No, he keeps taking it to court, so they have to actually stand on it, and now you have
That's
an
right.
actual
Record.
ruling on
Record.
it.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And so
there's record.
now moving forward, you know exactly what the law is. I've never seen so many political astute people in my life. Everybody knows everything now. Well, you know the First Amendment, you know this. I'm like, when did you become a constitutionalist? Like you know,
it's
but,
kind of
but
segment.
it's getting everybody there.
Yeah, so it segments us into. Go for it, Celeste. I'll let you finish.
I'm sorry. Another definitional offense. The opposite of authoritarian is not someone who would submit to the ruling of a court.
Come on, sis.
If you really look at everything that they do, they are creating these definitional offenses. A real authoritarian wouldn't go to court. They wouldn't ask for
Thank you.
Go to court means you are asking someone, you're putting them in a position above you where you are willing to subordinate yourself to their decision. Authoritarians don't do that.
Come on, sis. Now you're hurting their brains.
Celeste, take it all the way back to what we said in the beginning with Charlemagne. And it goes right back to the beginning. They speak to the people that they know that they're speaking to. They have the degrees, but they know nothing. They're lacking common sense. They're lacking intelligence. They hear what these people tell them, and they're too lazy to go, well, is this what that actually means? Let me go look that up. Don't be ashamed. You don't know what it means.
They
You
don't
all
have
are
to,
hurting.
because it
You
fits
all are
the
hurting their
narrative that
brain.
they want. So they actually don't have to. And then they actually know, those people like Jasmine Crockett actually know what they're saying. Jasmine Crockett, I make fun of her, but she's not totally dumb.
No,
Okay.
she's not.
She knows
No, she don't.
exactly what she's doing. She
Yep.
does the little word game and things like
Mhm.
that, because she knows that's what her base likes. The 98%
That's right.
they just care about being heard and seen. They don't actually care about being right.
All rational.
You're absolutely right. And that kind of segments us into the next segment here, because there is some big news that is coming out of DC. I don't know if you guys have heard, but the Charlie Kirk Act that's being presented in front of Congress, it's going to happen, I believe, maybe sometime next week. And this bill would ban the government from using your tax dollars to push propaganda on you.
Hallelujah.
Now think about that for a second. They take your paycheck and then turn around and use it to sell you lies,
Against
spin failures as success, and convince you that chaos is progress. And I wouldn't call that free speech. That's what you would call taxpayer-funded brainwashing. The Charlie Kirk Act says that will not be happening anymore. And essentially what it's going to be is the Smith-Mundt Act being enacted or enabled again, but they're going to call it the Charlie Kirk Act moving forward if it gets passed through the House and through the Senate. So no more using federal money to manipulate Americans. It's about accountability. It's about transparency and giving power back to the people rather than relying on DC spin doctors. And let's be honest, you got a lot of politicians, they're panicking over this right now. A lot of them are panicking over this. And it's probably
They don't want to
because
spend
they've
their own
been
money to do it.
relying, exactly, they've been relying on propaganda all along. And the bottom line is this. This is just another step toward the continuance of draining the swamp. I got a couple clips I want to share with you guys, and then we're going to keep things going from there.
Nation of Charlie Kirk. We have been asking for this to be reinstated. This Smith-Mundt Act has to be reinstated. But after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, there is a new wave of enthusiasm for this, as there should be. But some people on our side are now demanding more than just a firewall. You go to change.org and there's petitions for a Charlie Kirk Act. And it will not only stop government propaganda, but it goes further than that. It starts to punish private media, educators, social platforms for spreading what they call false narratives. So this is our side saying, yeah, well, now we want the power to do what they did. Okay? Hear me clearly. Accountability matters. Lives are destroyed, reputations are smeared, and that matters. But we have systems in place for that. What this proposal opens is a new door, a door where government decides what is and isn't falsehood, and the government cannot do that. History teaches us once the government claims the authority to define truth, liberty is gone. Okay? Now enter Mike Lee. Mike Lee has another proposal. Mike Lee has a version that he is submitting to Congress and trying to get it passed, and every American should be for this, right or left. Every American should be for this. He's not going to reinvent the wheel. He just wants the old firewall put back, period. That's it. The government must not and cannot propagandize its own people.
That's right.
Restore the very bright red line that was established in 1948. It's not about silencing speech. It's about preventing the most powerful institution on earth with the endless resources of that institution, the government, and the endless reach from turning its fire hose of influence in on the American people.
Amen.
This is why it matters. I want you to think of football. Oh boy, dangerous. You wouldn't let the referee in a football game put on a jersey and join one of the teams, okay? But that's what the repeal did. It let the government become both the referee and the player in the arena of ideas. Mike Lee is saying, put the stripes back on their jerseys. Make sure they're in black and white stripes so we know exactly who they are. Change.org and some people on our side want to make the ref not only a player, but the judge, the jury, and the executioner. It cannot happen. This is, I'm telling you, if this goes through, Mike Lee is proposing something that is clean, doesn't have any of this in. So support the Mike Lee Monk Act. But if you're hearing people talk about we have to go further, that is the Patriot Act of our day. We're standing at a fork in the road. Reinstating the Smith-Mundt protections, they're not going to solve all the problems of misinformation, but it reestablishes the ground rules, and it tells Washington, you cannot propagandize us, period.
Amen.
Back to prohibition. Look, there's no good reason in a free society like ours for our government to be manipulating its own people. And that's why I've introduced a bill to bring back this prohibition in Smith-Mundt. And in honor of our friend who lost his life a week ago, I'm naming it the Charlie Kirk Act. Charlie was a big fan of limited government, was a deep skeptic of the brooding, omnipresent government that we often face today, and would have been thrilled to be honored by a measure to bring back Smith-Mundt bearing his name, and we've got to get this passed.
Yeah, this is so important. I mean, you saw it firsthand. If you were, if you were alive during COVID, you know the propaganda that was done by our government in league with big pharmaceuticals and the media. That was all propaganda, and they could get away with it because the Smith-Mundt Act had been repealed. All of the stuff that you have gone through with propaganda, where they are setting up, truth squads, where the government will say what's true and what's not. All of that happened because of the repeal of this act in 2011. You want to stop it, you have to put that back in, and he is calling it the Charlie Kirk Act.
I have yet to hear a really good, effective defense of the repeal of Smith-Mundt. Not in 2012 when it was passed as part of the National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2013, and not since then. People are actually afraid to defend it, and they're afraid with good reason, because the American people don't take kindly to that. The American people don't take kindly to their overly paternalistic, sort of dark overlord government trying to tell them what to think, trying to tell them, here's the official position of the United States government. We're not actually going to tell you that that's what's doing it. We're just going to use the same techniques that we use overseas to try to get what we want in other countries on American voters. That's wrong, because you're taking money from the American people, you're spending it to tell them what to think and therefore how to vote, and that's wrong.
All righty. Wow. We'll let you kick this one off, Celeste. What are your thoughts on bringing back the Smith-Mundt Act?
I'm very happy with bringing it back. I do like the safeguards. I've not read the bill, so let me start by saying that. But what I'm hearing is the safeguards that it would put back in place, I'm very happy with. But I think it speaks to something even broader, which is that none of this would be necessary if the government weren't bigger than the Constitution allowed anyways. We are operating outside of the 19 enumerated functions of the Constitution.
Yep.
So if we were actually in line and operating as the Constitution our government gave us to function, none of this would be an issue as it is. The government wouldn't be propagandizing at all. The government wouldn't be doing all of the things that it's doing, which are actually unconstitutional. The Constitution says, and the Supreme Court has upheld consistently, that anything beyond those 19 enumerated functions are to be handled by the states. So these people are already outside of their jurisdiction. And so while I am grateful that more limitations, this act would put back limitations that were previously there, I think that instead of thinking about how to stop the government from doing this and doing that, we need to consistently work to force the government to operate inside its proper legal function, because everything else is actually unconstitutional.
Right.
And if the people knew that, they could wrestle that power back from the federal government, which was only supposed to operate as a secretary, as an administrative function between states. That was the only thing that the federal government was ever supposed to do. Was it supposed to just be a secretary, so that if this state and this state had an issue, it could administrate proper functioning between them. But actually governing, the function of governing is for the states. And if people clearly understood the Constitution, as Mika said, now everybody's an expert. If people clearly understood that, they could wrestle that power back and put it appropriately in the states where it belongs.
Oh man,
I'm with you on that, Celeste. My issue is most people are not. I'm going to say most people are ignorant to the Constitution, and they don't know what the federal government's responsibilities are.
That's
Most
a fact.
people couldn't tell you what the 3 branches of government are
So good.
right now, unfortunately. But Minister
You know, the
Denzel, I know
article
you've
is.
been going last, but I'll let you. I'll let you get in there, and then we'll go Mika next.
You said me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
I know he's so
listen.
used to going last. He's like, wait, I get to go.
What? Yeah. This is important. This is a very important issue. It's very important that we understand why this is an important issue. We cannot allow others to tell us what truth is. And I say this all the time. We've got to do our own homework, because if we don't do our own homework and learn what we're supposed to be as a nation, they're going to continue to use word games and terminology games to help us to think the way they want us to think. And that's where their power is at. We're going to get into this probably later on, that when the clip that I gave you guys. There's a lot of power in words and how things are understood. And we have got to stop letting them play us by giving us the language that they want us to use. Because when we use their language, we end up thinking the way they think. And whenever they use that language, we have to correct that language. I mean, no matter what it is, if they use a term incorrectly while we're talking to them, we have to stop them in their tracks, put the proper meaning on that language. When they mention the Constitution, we have to make sure they're viewing the Constitution correctly, because whenever we let them do that, we help them to promote their craziness. And there are too many people being affected by it. I thank God for the intelligent sisters and brothers we have on this panel today, who are breaking down the differences between what they think and what we think. But we have to keep sticking this to them every time we get a chance to do it. I mean, I really thank God for you, Brother Wise, having these kind of talks and having these kind of podcasts, because for every one of us that's out there, there are 20 million of those other ones that's spewing craziness. So we need to keep this going. Don't let yourself get discouraged. Don't let anything or anybody discourage you. And again, I think it's good that you also point out to us how to contact each other and to view each other's material, so that people can get good information. I thank God for that. I really do, because this is how people are red pilled. When they hear programs like this one, they can compare it to what they're getting on the other programs and on the major media, and they can eventually see the difference. A lot of good people who were on the left have been red pilled by our kind of programs, and they're now on our side. So we got to keep it going.
Hear that? Get in there, Mika.
I first want to say you're absolutely correct. My slogan for my podcast is this is where truth, pop culture, and politics meet.
Come on.
Because people don't understand that everything is political. Everything.
Yes.
Everything you see is political, right? But to go to Celeste's point about the verbiage and Constitution and things like that, we have to correct first the word democracy.
Come
I'm
on.
sick of it.
Another one. That's right.
This is a constitutional republic.
Always has been.
Okay, which is the reason why I think they took, certain classes out of school, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you would normally learn this in civics.
They took it out.
You'll have a little paper. Well, what's the 3 branches and things like that? It seems
They
minute,
had that.
but
They had that.
yes, it sticks with you, and so when you have that, you understand what a republic is, because in a democracy you get things like this mob rule,
That's
right?
right.
And so and we're modeled unfortunately after Rome. So when did Rome fall? When it became a democracy.
That's right.
Right. And so you have that. And then you have them on the left talking about January 6th, right? Now,
Insurrection.
for the life of me, I don't understand why they talk about this in the whole white supremacist thing, because here's the thing about it. As a country, it is your duty. If you see your government becoming tyrannical,
That's right.
it is your job to actually go there and do something about it. That is the reason why we have the right to bear arms, right? It's not just so I can protect myself against the YNs, which is still good, but it's to protect myself against that tyrannical government, because one day, always and always will, the government becomes a tyrant.
That's right.
And they knew that was going to happen. So when people talk about January 6th, I'm like, you guys get into the feelings about it, right? Get into the feelings about it instead of actually looking at what's going on. And what's really going on is they want you to get used to not standing up against the government, to not saying anything. You're looking at Donald Trump. You need to be looking at that, because why can't I walk in a Capitol building that I pay for
Come on.
and tell you what I think of you and unseat you if I want to?
Come on.
Right? Because they want you to be okay with letting things just happen. And that's what happens when you get in a democracy. And my last point is when Celeste said, force the government to do certain operations. Well, the people are the problem. It's not even the government. It's the people. The people right now are the problem. Ever since 1913, when we allowed the central banking system to actually loan our people money, and we took it from having a treasury, which is just basically somebody holding my money, to actually somebody loaning me money and funds. When you allow that, you allow a plethora of things to start happening, because everything now is attached to the money. So now the politicians are beholden to the money, not the people. And so 1913, I think, is a turning point. And if we don't actually start holding these people accountable,
that's right.
I don't see the country going too far.
Amen.
I agree with that.
Excellent.
And Jason,
Excellent.
I want you to get in there. When you think about the dumbing down of America, I would say right now that your average American doesn't know who their representatives are. They may not know they definitely don't know their district representative, to even have a conversation to say, hey, I want you to do something about whatever it is that you may have an issue with. So the dumbing down of America has really, if you really think about it, it's been a success. Because the dumber the population, the easier the population is to be controlled.
That's right.
And it's unfortunate. And the thing is that because they've dumbed us down, when you have a J6 type situation where the people want to go there and say, hey, we demand that the government do what we want you to do because you work for us, not the other way around. The people that aren't that smart, or as the Jason would say, the smooth brain people would say, that's not right. They're not allowed to do that. When actually, yeah, that is your right to do that.
That's
And honestly, I would say more of a right, your responsibility to
go.
do that.
There you go.
But get in there, Jason. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think we've allowed ourselves to get lulled to sleep, distracted. I mean, there's a lot of distractions going on. So it's not just that they dumbed us down with nothing. Right? We got some things we're doing, but this should definitely be at the top of our list of being mindful of what are our elected politicians doing. Because again, as Celeste pointed out, most of us don't realize a lot of stuff that they're promising, a lot of things that are being offered to you are not duties and responsibilities of the government. From housing to so many different things. That's not a duty and responsibility of the government. Not only from the Constitution, but not even from Scripture. You don't see those admonishments anywhere. We just kind of made them up.
That's
and
right.
We've gotten very comfortable with these made up things. And guess what? They're not really good at them.
Nope.
But the problem is they're not good at them. They're not good at the activity that they're not supposed to be doing. And we're not fighting for them to do, to give us back our power to do it or take our power back to do those things, whether it be whatever it is. There's a lot of things that the government does that if we really took the time, as Celeste admonished us, go look at what the actual duties are and just ask yourself, why are we doing these other things?
Yep.
Why are they involved in so many other areas? And then what Mika said comes in and starts making way more sense about how we've gotten here. So that would be my admonishment for sure.
Amen.
Crystal.
I guess all I will say is that is why they did what they did. Their goal was for you to own nothing and be happy. So that means if they want you to be dumbed down, they don't want you to know
Right.
anything. And that is why they started pulling things out of school, changing the education system. They started propagandizing us. And listen, I watch family members who should know better, and they don't know better because they will sit down here and tell me, but the View said, I don't care what the View said. I don't care what the View said. Go look it up. Go do some research. But that's the thing. They wanted a society that is dumbed down so that they can easily control. Because how are you going to own nothing and be happy if you know stuff? If you know what's going on, you would. So then people would say, "Hold on, what happened is wrong. So January 6th makes sense. Yes, let's go stand up. Let's fight because what they're doing is wrong. We need to let them know that we aren't standing for this." But if you don't know that you can do that, then you will just take it. You will just take it and be quiet and say, you know what? At least my government is taking care of me. And guess what? As my good friend John Paul King says, the EBT network. That is what you have.
It's crazy.
EBT network.
But Crystal, you're so right, especially to the point where most of the people don't understand the things that Donald Trump is doing is twofold, right? One, he's an older gentleman, so he don't really care what you think about it, what he says.
That's right.
He's
This is his last term.
Yeah. What you gonna do? Vote him out? Okay.
Exactly.
And then the second thing is he's putting everything back, right?
In place.
I keep telling people the whole abolish the Fed. The Fed shouldn't be there. The Fed should not be here at all, central banking. But to go to that point, the IRS is a private institute. It's not a part of the government. I hear people say all the time, oh, the IRS,
They don't know that.
it is not a part of the government, and it cannot compel you to pay these taxes. You actually agree on these forms. You're agreeing to do business as your actual name. Whatever your name is, you are agreeing to do business as. That's why they can come after you, because you gave them permission to.
Yes.
You gave them that permission. So I tell people all the time, if you actually just go, it's in the archives, it's in it's digital now. You can look all of these things up and actually see that all of this is erroneous. And my last point is that the tariffs. People are like, well, why Donald Trump is so focused on the tariffs? Because the only way to get rid of the Fed, the only way to get rid of the IRS is to actually put the country back on where the money was actually coming from before.
That's right.
Because right now, the people are 98% of the cash cow to keep the government running.
That's right.
If everybody said today, I'm not going to work, the country would crash.
It would collapse.
Yeah,
that's it.
Because that's where the money's coming from. Donald Trump is saying, no, get the money from the exports, things like that. All of these taxes are illegal. If according to the Constitution, you're not supposed to be paying anything on your services, right?
Yes.
It went from actually being an article, I think it's Article 2. It went from actually being you tax the goods that come in and out, embargoes, things like that. And once the 1913 came and they quote unquote ratified, you now see it says, oh, we can tax everything, including services.
And that was supposed to be temporary.
There you go. So now you have it. Now you have wartime measures with
Yep.
no sunset clause. That's another
That's
thing that
right.
they do. They
Yep.
they put these measures in place and don't give you a sunset clause, and the people
That's
don't
right.
demand it. So at the end of the day, that's why it comes back to the people. You don't know, but when you know better, you do better.
Do better.
A lot of these people get the information and they reject it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Because they would rather be a slave, and they get really upset when I say that. But they would come in real quick when we were talking about the things that Charlie Kirk was saying and all that. They're like, "Oh, this one man came into my life and he was like, you'd make a good slave." I was like, "Why would I make a good slave?" He said, "Because you don't know anything and you love your oppressor." I said, "I love my oppressor." I said, "No, you're the one that loves your oppressor because you don't know the truth. You are still sitting here and you're beholden to Democratic Party that still keeps you in this place of being enslaved. You don't know the things that your government should be doing. You have no idea what is supposed to be happening, but you would rather just sit down and talk about the oppressor."
That's right.
Instead of fussing about the oppressor, go pick up a book and read. Go learn something. And that's what I'm saying.
Who's really the oppressor though? The
Yeah.
people telling you to go do some reading and some research, or the people that will beat your tail for doing some research and asking questions?
And beat your tail for doing something on your own, based upon your own, what you think is the best for your own family.
I can't do that. Can't do that.
Wise, and I'll pose this question to the panel. What do you think about the whole party switch? And the reason why I'm asking that
Never
is
happened.
because thank you. But the reason why I'm asking that is because the conversation that Crystal just had, I always get into that. Well, the party switch, and I say, well, if you go and actually look at the Civil Rights Bill that was introduced by the Republicans, with, 3 so years earlier, every person that voted for it in 1964, every person that voted for it then shot it down, including JFK.
That's right.
Okay. And so when you look at it, they used it as a mechanism to, get, votes. But I say this to say, really, in 3 years, people went from being racist to all about Black folks. And starting from there, it's never about Black folks with liberals. It's about everybody else. Every measure that's happened in this country is based off the backs of civil rights. Every measure, they're using it for the illegals, they're using it for this, that, and the third, and Black people still in the same position. Why? Because everybody that's using that has demanded something with that, has demanded something with their vote. Black people aren't demanding absolutely nothing.
No,
I
absolutely
mean,
not.
when you think about the alphabet community movement, the
That's right.
entire alphabet community movement was, built on the Civil Rights Act. And when all these people out here fussing and fighting, about this DEI movement, I'm like, do y'all not understand that the DEI movement was about the alphabet community? It was all about them.
Absolutely.
When I worked in corporate America, I remember when they first introduced the DEI departments, and you should have seen the kooky creatures that was a part of that. That was a part of that department.
Yeah.
And
Did you ever watch the video? Did you ever watch a DEI video? Did you ever see because they would always make us watch the DEI videos, and I'm like,
yeah.
Using proper pronouns and understanding all those different ideologies. It was not about, and that's why I said, when you sit down and see Jamal Bryant fight for DEI, you gotta know he was also the one he was the one who went and preached at a LGBT.
That's because he got pronouns. That's what I said.
There you go.
He got pronouns.
Well, I want to remind people that if they want to get a good grasp on the Constitution, there's an excellent video series called Constitution Alive that's provided by wallbuilders.com. I put it in the chat. It has an excellent presentation of what the Constitution is all about and how our country was founded. And these people are Christians. They own over 100,000 documents from the founding era, and they don't play. They really lay it online. So if you want to get a crash course in the Constitution, I think I would recommend that one.
Can you drop that link in the private chat? I'll throw it in the.
I did.
It's in the private chat.
Oh, you did throw it in there already? Okay. Let's see.
Yeah, and if somebody knows a link to a good because I studied it, I don't really go on site. So if somebody does know a good link about taxes, drop it in. But I just really want people to get educated about that, because your economic standing is how you get things done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And most people, most groups that don't have anything, it's because they don't have any economic footing.
Yeah, you're right.
You're right.
Yeah, Luca, you're actually right about taxes thing. That tax situation but it's very deeply ingrained in our society right now, and they have a lot of roadblocks to prevent people from taking advantage of the truth and defending themselves. So be very careful about that. There are some groups that are out there that's doing it, that's breaking it down.
Yes,
there's a lot of great material published about it. I have some material I will make sure I send out to you. But be careful, because they have a lot of people in jail and have lost all of their livelihood because they put up roadblocks to prevent you from taking advantage of the truth about that. So you're very right there. You're absolutely right.
I tell people this all the time, because you're doing business as, and until you get a whole grasp of it, I get it. You're gonna, do your taxes, but here's the catch, because you guys always like to talk about the rich, right? And how they don't pay any taxes. You are doing business as you. Get that Schedule C and write everything off as a loss, because it is a loss, because you have to pay out this. I guarantee you, let's say you make $50,000 a year, I guarantee you write off those just couple of losses, you end up being in a $20,000 income tax bracket, which allows you to pay either little to no taxes.
Yeah, rich people know how to do that.
That's a big thing out here. You'll see a lot of people that will work for a company, but they call it corp to corp. So they essentially create themselves as a corporation.
Right.
But they're the only work there. It's just them. And some people, they might hire a couple people, but typically it's just them. But they will work for a company, but the company pays them a flat rate. So, and then that way they get to write off, their car expenses and all this other kind of stuff, whatever they're using, for work and to get to work, lunch, all that kind of good stuff.
But it's already built in, not only the Constitution. When you go to do your car registration, it's a Class C. It's commercial. That's why you can write your car off. So when you go outside and drive, because there's a difference in the Constitution from traveling.
That's right.
And then actually being I forget the verbiage, but your car changes over in a different verbiage once you start using it for work. So those 2 hours that you got to go to work, write that off, figure out the mileage, get your Schedule C, and have your whoever you have put that on there. I drive 2 hours per day to and fro, and and put that
nowadays
on
they make
there.
it easy to track it. There's all kind of apps that you can track all this stuff. They make it pretty easy. You just got to do it. You just got to do it.
It's just power.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to move on to the last segment here. And we're going to talk about Steven Crowder. And, I'm just going to play the clip and then we'll go from there in a second.
Okay. As you know, a lot of people believed you were advocating for a violent response. You've clarified that now. And people are saying, is that a sincere clarification, or have you just calmed down?
It wasn't a clarification. It was a repeat. And I stand by it. I am advocating for lawful, maybe let me clarify, ruthless violence in defense of us and our own. And if you give me 1.5 minutes, I can make it crystal clear if we need to. What you're seeing with Charlie Kirk is what got through. Charlie Kirk lived under a cloud just as I have. It's the reason that I stopped doing Change My Minds, where there were 12 felonious assaults, attempts at battery, and attempts on my life. And I know quite a few, and many I don't, of Charlie Kirk. I want to be clear. I want those on the left to speak freely and to be able to host their events with minimal security as they do now for the rest of their lives. Just as surely, I want them to be deathly terrified of showing up and acting with the increasing violence as they have at our events. And that goes both ways. Hey, if there's a spat of right-wing violence that's spreading across this country, treat those people the same way that we treat yours. But you won't find it. And let me just address a couple of things here. What I think leads to violence, they'll try and blame it on Donald Trump. They'll give us a bunch of reasons. Let me be really clear here. Joe Walsh will say that this is an overreaction. He said that yesterday. He doesn't understand why this is a big deal. That's untrue. He will say that statistically more violence comes from the right. That's provably untrue. He has been stating for days that the shooter was in fact not a leftist and we didn't know. That's provably untrue. He will create a false equivalency between Charlie Kirk and the murder of the Hortmans in Minnesota. That's provably untrue. And finally, he will place blame, as the left and the spineless right does, for all of this on Donald Trump, conservatives, rising figures, and the rhetoric for temperatures in this country. That is provably untrue. Donald Trump ran on Law and Order and won because of leftist violence. All of this, let me finish with this. All of this is by design so that the left and spineless right can make this conversation about conservatives responding to the cold-blooded terroristic assassination and gleeful celebration thereafter of a young man who did nothing more than sit down at a table and allow anyone to speak their opinion. And I know what it's like because I was in that spot. I started it, and Charlie cited it as inspiration. If I could change one thing, and I do believe that I'm partially responsible for this, I've failed people. I've had to do a lot of soul searching. When I did change my mind and started in 2016, the idea was, hey, calling the left on their bluff, civil dialogue with anyone to the tune of billions of plays and hundreds of hours. And it got increasingly violent. And what I didn't tell people, I told people out there, go do this on your own campus, have these conversations. I advocated for it. And Charlie took it to another level. He was unbelievable at it. What I didn't do, I didn't tell people about the threats because I didn't want copycats. I didn't tell them about terrorists from Yemen through Sweden showing up in East Grand Rapids. I didn't tell them about concrete milkshakes. I didn't tell them about my tires getting slashed, about people trying to firebomb my car. And maybe if I would have picked up the phone, maybe if I would have used this megaphone to tell people it's real life out there and the left wants you dead, maybe Charlie would have had a fighting chance.
Wow, powerful, powerful.
That is so powerful.
Yeah.
So
Mr.
powerful.
Danza, I'll let you go first. If you want to go in, and Crystal, we'll go from there.
Yeah, I'm glad that you played that clip and you brought this up because again, I've always said that we have to understand that just trying to be bygones is not the way you respond to people who are crazy and violent. That you have to respond to them in a way they know that they can't do this and get away with it. Now, Charlie has a great point. Number one, he says that, Steve has a great point. He said that Kirk was inspired by him. He made that clear. He said that what he didn't do, he failed to tell them that about the responses that these people on the left have been given to him, the danger that he was under. And he said he didn't do it because he was afraid that, they encourage copycats. But by not making that clear, that we were not prepared for the crazy that was going on. And so his point is well taken. You can't respond to brutal violence with passivity, because when you do that, you encourage brutal violence, and that's what's been going on. Now, we're not, and every time you bring this up, they say, well, there's violence on both sides. Yes, there's violence on both sides, but look at the statistics. And I'm not talking about the fake statistics that's been put out there that said that the right is more violent than the left. That's a lie from the pit of hell. And Charlie and Steve brought his receipts to that discussion. But the difference is that there's much more violence on the left side, and this is very clear. No one can really deny that, honestly. And those statistics have to be made clear to the public. It is not the same thing. But he sits saying that both sides, no matter where the violence is coming from, has to be met properly. And you have to shut this stuff down before it gets out of hand, because if you don't, you're going to have a civil war in your hand.
I'm still bothered by Charlie Kirk. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm still bothered by Charlie Kirk. And listening to Steve, I understand why somebody said it seems like he feels some kind of guilt, or because he feels like he should have shared all that. And it's because I know people like to say there's violence in the right, but my goodness, I have not seen a summer of love happen anywhere.
Nowhere.
No summer of love has taken place.
Never.
Anywhere.
Thank you.
And what happened to Charlie Kirk? A man that just had a microphone and having a conversation.
Never threatened anybody.
If the right was so violent, then you would have seen a summer of love, because the man was just sitting there having a conversation, and you just didn't like what he was saying. But there's no summer of love. So the thing is, and I have to say this, because us over here, when we talk the way that we talk, we talk common sense. And yes. I tell people all the time, because they come in here, they say some very hateful stuff to me. They send some evil messages to me, as my friend. Yeah, as my friend Sack says, listen, we gonna keep FBI on speed dial for y'all. We're gonna keep FBI on speed dial. You threaten me, please believe FBI will be my friend. But the thing is, you see this and you're just like, what is going on? And y'all know I was taken back to a biblical stance, because that biblical worldview, that is honestly the demonic spirits manifesting in them. They can't even control themselves. Yeah. They cannot control themselves. I know I sent you, I don't know if you're going to put this one up, wise, but where those people are in New York and they were saying F Charlie Kirk, he's a racist, blah, blah, blah. And then these kids were just having a prayer vigil at NYU, and the people were threatening to unalive them. They came to the prayer vigil to threaten to take their lives because they're praying. This is demonic. I want people to understand it. That's what it is. And the thing is, people hate truth. Demons hate truth. And that's literally what it is. Because people get upset because we tell them the truth. I don't know if y'all saw the video that I put out there where I said, Black people, I spoke to my Black people. I said, Black people, the reason why we are still in the place that we are, well, I'm not going to be in that group, but others, is because we walk around with generational unforgiveness, that curse of unforgiveness. And because we walk around in that space, we can't get ahead. So all we keep talking about is, remember when we were slaves, y'all weren't slaves. Stop telling me about slavery. You weren't there.
Never.
If y'all see the amount of hate and the hateful messages that I receive for just sharing truth and saying, listen, let's come up out from under that. Let us move in, like the word says, forgive and move on, because we can get better if we do. I got so much hate for it. I got threats thrown at me. So the thing is, I agree with him. And people don't understand. Listen, I ain't got to do nothing. Listen, if you come at me, I'm going to protect me. The Lord said, the Lord said to sell the cloaks and buy a sword. That's what the Lord said. The word said it.
Come on.
The word said it. So you're not going to come at me and try, but that's what I'm saying. The mental space, it's that reprobate mind, that demonic spirit in them, that's why they behave the way that they behave.
Luke 22.
And I love the fact that we showed them different, because like I said, Charlie Kirk unalived, and none of us did. All you saw was people singing, praising, prayer vigils, people honoring him. There was no violence, no violence at all. So to all my conservative people, to you, Wise, to you, Minister Denzel, to you, Mika, to you, Jay Witt, all of you that are out here speaking, just be mindful that everybody ain't right up there in the head. And it's because they're not right in their spirit. And we have to be careful around us, because we never know who's watching us, and we got to stay covered under the blood, because these people are crazy. They are.
No, that's a fact. I can definitely tell you. I get a lot of hate mail, and I do mean a lot. And I get a lot in my comment section. You know, I get called all types of jigaboos, half breed, this, that, third, all types of stuff. You know, whatever. You know, tether. That's their favorite one.
That's my favorite one. Yeah.
but you know, if the right really wanted to do something, right? We are the most and heavily armed group.
That's true.
Okay? Could just wipe all of them out. They don't have no guns. In Minnesota, none of these places. DC, none of them. They don't have any guns, right? So the group that has the guns are the most responsible.
Discipline. That's right.
Yeah. And to go to the Charlie Kirk point, there was a quote by Charlie Kirk that I had to correct in my video, because I'm so sick of hearing people say it. They're like, well, Charlie Kirk was for, you know, the Second Amendment, and he said, you know, well, you know, it's going to be gun violence, so oh well. That's not what he said.
That wasn't his point. No, it wasn't.
You have to recognize when you want something, that there are things that are going to come with it, right? We've realized that, you know, we can go outside and do better with getting places with a car.
That's right.
Right? But as it's been pointed out, 50,000 deaths.
Right.
Per year.
That's right.
Right? You're more likely to die in a car crash.
That's right.
Than a lot of things. So with that being said, I'm just like, okay, so you guys don't want to get rid of your cars. If I say go get rid of that Mercedes, you're not getting rid of that Mercedes, right? Nope. You're going to stand 10 toes down on it, because you have, and the rest of the society has taken a stance of saying, hey, this is actually worth those 50,000 deaths are actually worth having upward mobility. It's the same thing with guns. Yes, you're going to have crazy individuals that are going to do this. And that was Charlie Kirk's point in saying that. But again, the left, because they're so educated that they don't have common sense, so they take out context. They don't understand context. For the life of me, if you say something, well, Ketanji Brown and Kamala both don't have, the capacity to, oh my God, it's all Black women.
No, that's right.
No, I said Kamala.
Come on,
and
break
I
it down.
said Ketanji.
Break it down. Yes.
So
Amen.
they
Well, he called them
don't
out by name.
have. Yes, he
Right.
called them by name, and he
That's
said
right.
they don't have the capacity, which they don't, because
And
you can
use
go
their own
listen to
statements.
you can go listen to a montage of Ketanji. I don't know.
That's right. Use their own statements.
I don't know. Yeah.
They don't know how to define a woman, so clearly you don't know.
She in a hearing said that I am not educated enough to
We know.
define the
What y'all
definition
say?
of a woman. So
Come
I mean,
Come on, break it down, people. Break it down.
That's what. And so when you get into Charlie Kirk, he, of course, he's a content creator. Okay.
Yeah.
He understands, like I said earlier, that I use certain words to grab attention.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But when you listen to the context of what I'm saying, am I
That's
wrong?
right.
You can hate me. You can say I'm this, that, and the third. But
Right.
am I right?
Amen.
And just because you don't like me, don't make what I'm saying wrong. They don't
That's
like
right.
Charlie Kirk, and they say he's a racist,
They
and that
lie
he
on
only
him like
talks
crazy.
on Black and brown people, when that man spoke multiple times about white men needing to do better, white
he
men in
did.
fentanyl, white
Yes,
men
he
in mass
did.
shootings, white men and not being good family leaders. Okay, because
Even white racists.
the liberal white woman is running amok. Okay,
Yes, absolutely.
that's their
My
woman.
goodness.
Okay. And so he talked about bringing white men back to conservative values.
That's
He's
right.
a white man. What else
right.
is he supposed to talk about? So he can't talk about the Black community because that's racist. And then when he talks about the race that he is, the white community, then you say, oh, well, you're a white supremacist because you talk about building a white man back up. He's a white man.
You can't help. You can't do nothing right.
can't do nothing right. Yeah,
so at the end of
crazy.
the day, it's absolute nonsense. And the left is always and I'll land my plane here. The left is always going to use violence. This podcast right here that I do was started with my friend. She's no longer my friend. And it was all because I was voting for Donald Trump. And anytime we would have discourse on the podcast, it became increasingly violent. And I'm talking about just virtual, yelling and screaming at me. And I'm just like, you know me. Why are you yelling and screaming at me? And it's all because of the cognitive dissonance, the Trump derangement.
That's right.
Exactly.
They have a hold on the 98% and the 70% of Black men that stroll to the polls behind their chicks. And they have a grip on illegal immigrants because they understand that they're destitute.
Yeah.
But they can't do nothing with us.
Amen.
So they got to do something. And if you can't beat them, then you got to talk. Then you got to talk about it.
Right?
Yeah. Well, the thing is that anytime you start talking about holding people accountable, people are going to get in their feelings. And
right.
if you are a Black person talking to Black people about, how they can improve their plight, that doesn't require, or that doesn't say, oh, the white man has to do it for you, or it's the white man's fault that you're in this predicament. Anything outside of that, you are, Sambo, Uncle Tom, bootleg, coon, tether, something along those lines. And if you're white and you're saying, hey, we need the Black man and woman to start, to get back together. We need to see the marriage rates increase. We need to see the out of wedlock births decrease. That is racist talk right there for saying that, hey, we need you to improve. Now, I will say this. I do wish, and I understand where Steven Crowder is coming from, in this, by saying, I really wish that I would have been a little more forthcoming, even if maybe it didn't have to be on air, but he could have had a conversation like, hey, man, these are the things that have happened to me.
Right.
It is crazy out here if you're going to put yourself out here in this space.
That's right. Protect yourself.
Not only do you need
All
security
time.
on the ground, but you need security all the way around.
All time.
I'm sure he's probably kicking himself by not having those types of conversations.
Yeah.
No different than when people come to me and they say, man, you got this channel, this podcast, and this thing that you're doing. And I always warn them and tell them, I was like, hey, man, you have to be prepared.
Right. Amen.
Everybody's not going to agree with what you have to say.
That's right.
And you gotta have some thick skin. And if you don't have it, you better build it. And you need to allow it to callous, because everybody is not going to agree with what you said. Some people will agree with 90% and they will unsubscribe off of 10%. You know what I'm saying? Of what you said. And they'll cuss you out and call you all kinds of names, everything but a child of God, because of one thing that they disagreed with that you said. And that's where, when you get into this, you can't I always tell people, don't be naive. Everybody's not gonna love you. And understand that. And understand that that's okay. When you put yourself out there. And I'm sure, Charlie Kirk understood the dangers. I would assume that well, actually, I'm not even gonna say I assume. I got a chance to see some videos of him being attacked by Antifa. I got a chance to see some videos of him being attacked by different people. And what was that, maybe a month ago, at a Turning Point event where all hell just broke loose. And I think Tatum was out there and he was throwing bows, and throwing blows at folks out there. And that was just about a month ago or so, right? So I think he understood, what he was getting himself into. But I also understand Crowder and I understand his plight, because he's like, man, I wish I would have said something. And I think all of us, I'm sure all of you guys all have platforms, and I'm sure people come up to you and say, hey, how can I do what you're doing? And I'll give you some game, but I'm also going to tell you, like, hey, especially if you're going to get into this space, I got to warn you, hey, everybody's not going to love you.
Right.
And sometimes it be your own folks, you know what I'm saying, that will that will cut you the deepest, unfortunately.
That's a good catch.
You guys, why do you think out of everything in our generation, we were allowed to see that happen?
I know it from a biblical side. I know the answer from a biblical side of things, because
I'm gonna say it's the fear.
It was for the wheat and the tare to separate. You had to see who is who, because you got to see the nasty side, because there's a lot of people that they're buttoned up and you really can't see who they really are. But I think you got to see the wheat versus the tare during this, because if you would have just saw it or read about it, it's different. But to see it online and then see people's reactions, you got to see how evil people really are. You will sit down here and dance on somebody's grave. That's how sick and demented you are. You can't look at this situation and see, where's your humanity? It doesn't matter if you agree with him or not. This man was clipped in front of his wife and his child, and it wasn't even a matter of condolences to the family. It was about being nasty. And I also think it was a way of telling conservatives, none of y'all are safe. So please keep talking. That's why, and I think that's why they kept up those images as long as they did, because they wanted conservatives to know, you keep talking, you ain't safe.
Next. And it's very similar to, what they would do on the plantation, when they wanted to break somebody.
That's right.
They'd leave them hanging up there. They'd beat them in front of everybody. They might buck break them in front of everybody, as a way to deter others.
That's right.
From, maybe potentially stepping out of line or saying something that may be out of line. Jason, I want to give you an opportunity.
For sure. To answer Mika's question, I believe we saw this. Every generation has had turning point moments that help shake society, kind of wake them up out of some of the foolishness that they're in. I believe this helped us. This is going to be our point back moment where we'll point back and remember, like, oh, well, why are there so many people engaging at college campuses? Why are there so many people willing to engage the culture in this way? Oh, yeah, it was this effect from September 10th. And I do believe that's what we're experiencing. There is I don't remember where it was shared. I don't think it's just that society hates truth. And I'm not trying to parse words, but I really believe that society hates Christ. And we have to make sure that now Christ is truth, but I do think we need to properly use the proper term. Like, society hates the fact and the idea that someone would dare to stand on a college campus surrounded by his or her enemies and declare truth in the way that he did. And it was, how many times have we ever seen him do that before? Not many people who've become experts in Charlie Kirk didn't even know his name. They thought it was only James T. Kirk before then.
They right in line with those constitutionalists. Go ahead.
Right, they're right there. They're right there. But they became experts by Wednesday night. So my point is, this idea that we stand on truth and we're willing to literally put ourselves on the line to stand in a place of truth in the pocket and just stand there and so be it. But so be it. So I don't think we're foolish or in error or anything of that nature. We are allowing people to realize that our faith is not in our rhetoric. Our faith is not in our government. Our faith is not in our ability to how quickly I can pull my weapon out. My faith is in my King. And if I am doing what I'm doing in honor and service of my King, so be it.
Amen.
I'm perfectly fine with the outcome of that. And I feel comfortable that Charlie Kirk was perfectly fine with the outcome because he was doing what he was doing in honor and respect and to his King. And I don't believe that he would have buckled back if he could rewind time and change change what happened on that day. I don't think he would, because he realizes that he was doing exactly what he should be doing. So I do think that we should continue to encourage and admonish and prod people to get out there and engage in the culture, whether it be like we're doing here or face to face or however. There's going to be some changes, though. There will be changes to this, but I don't think that change my mind, prove me wrong type of effect should stop. But it's gonna look different. It'll look different.
You're gonna have to get some security. You're gonna have to.
Well, he had security, but maybe
he had security, but I think drone coverage, things of that nature. I think
in a centralized place inside of a building, maybe. Maybe they need to be inside a building so you can properly cover those type of gaps and such like that. Because I was thinking, like, well, what was his security really have done when somebody's several yards away on a rooftop?
And why didn't they have those things like they have when the people go the president
the shields?
speaks?
The bulletproof shields. Maybe that's something that they'll implement in the near future.
They'll be there. That'll be there now. But beyond all of that, I want us to continue to engage in the culture. The only way that we are going to, because a lot of things we said about politics is downstream from culture. And sadly, the left has been fighting in the culture and we've been trying to fight the politics.
Right.
Well, the problem is we're over here fighting the ramification, the poison that's in the water, a mile down from the nuclear reactor, and the left is up at the nuclear reactor chucking poison into the water. We have to engage the culture. Charlie was engaging the culture.
That's right.
Yeah, Charlie was talking to the youth, and that was
right, because they're going to be the policymakers. They're going to be the policymakers when we retire, when our kids retire. Those people that he's engaging with are going to be the policymakers.
Right.
And he's now, but we've been thinking too myopically. We've been thinking about what am I going to have for lunch today, rather than how my great grandchildren going to live in a country like this. So back to the point. The last thing is, wait, say again, Mika.
I said most of them don't want any children, so they're not going to have any grandchildren.
No, great point.
We become so anti-family.
Absolutely, but I think we are watching an engagement of the culture and really getting in there, but not just getting pushed around and mealed around, but really getting in there, throwing some bows and helping the culture see the errors of the ways, because that's what's going to change politics.
Amen.
That's what's going to change the issue that we talked about earlier about the understanding of the Constitution or taxes and all those things like that, is because politics is downstream from culture. And the more we deal with this and fight in this area, the better we'll improve others down there.
Can I just say that Charlie did everything from a biblical worldview, and I love that. And what it showed after what happened, and I agree with what you're saying, Jason, is that I don't know about y'all. I know my TikTok community, they all feel the same way. After what happened to him, there was a fire that bubbled up inside of me and a lot of other people. I think that's why Turning Point has 62,000 applications at this point, because people are like, we're not going to be quiet. We're going to share the truth. We're going to give you that biblical worldview. We are going to affect, as you said, Jason, the culture. We're going to give you the truth. We are going into the belly of the beast and we're going to spread the word. I think that is what everybody, and I don't want to say it was just here. I think globally, you just saw it across the globe. People were like, we are not going to sit quiet. We don't care about the lefties losing it. I really don't care.
Amen.
We're going to stand proud and we're going to share the truth, and no one is going to shut us up. And even though they try to use that imagery to put fear in us, it didn't put fear. It actually put righteous indignation in all of us.
Amen.
And we said, nope, we are going to share the truth, regardless of however you feel. And as Jason said, they hate Christ. And the Lord
Amen.
said, they will hate you because they hated me first. So at that, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm called to do, period.
And wives, you also showed some videos about how people have actually jumped ship as a result of this. They actually left the left, and they left that progressive mindset because they were shown point blank just how wicked and evil these people are, and they don't want to be a part of it. So that's a great point too.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. And Charlie, dare I say, somewhat of a modern day Paul, speaking to young people in a language that they can understand.
Amen.
Speaking to young people in a language that they can understand. I've been saying it on this channel for a long time. I mean, everything that's happening, the policies, things of that nature, it's really not about us. Those of us that are, I guess, middle age or older. It's really about what type of nation are we leaving for our children, for our grandchildren, for our great grandchildren. What are we leaving to them? And that's where I think the generation ahead of us or over us or before us, I think that's where they dropped the ball. They thought about the now and didn't think about what are we leaving for our children.
Right.
And that's something that we have to continue to keep at the forefront, of everybody's minds. Like, hey, our vote, the policies, the agenda, it is not about us. I have young boys, young men, more or less, and I don't have any grandkids, but I would hope, Lord willing, that one day they will be fathers and they will have children and I will have some grandchildren. What type of nation do we plan to leave for them? And who's going to guide these young people to give them the insight and wisdom on how to live a life that's worth living?
Right.
It's important, man. I got a couple super chats I want to read, and then we're going to get up out of here. Shout out to Jay Thomas with the $5 super chat. Says, I want to get into this type of content. I have a lot to say according to scripture. You guys are speaking facts 100%. Thank you very much, Jay Thomas.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
Can I say something then?
Go for it.
Go turn your camera on. Just turn the camera on. If you want to do it, put it back on there because I can't see it. If you want to do it, just get your camera, get your phone, get your smartphone, get your dumb phone. The first one's going to suck anyway. The first 20 are going to be horrible. So just go ahead and do it. And just do it. And just do it. Don't say anything else to me until you do it. And then when you do it, dearwokesy@gmail.com.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Paralysis by analysis. So many people are like, I'm going to do it. And they never do it.
No,
Like,
come on over. Just do it.
You said the first 20, probably the
first
40 or
100.
50.
The first 100.
Yes.
Yeah. I was trying to be gracious, but my first 1,000 are pretty bad. They're pretty suspect.
In mine, I'm like, I was sitting like that.
I was like, hold on, what you talking about? I'm still struggling, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. If you go back, I've gone back and I've watched some of my older content from a year ago, and you're like, oh man, wow.
As long as you get 1% better every time you do it.
Still out there, but that's the goal right there. To get
Just get 1% better every time you turn on your camera.
Yeah,
be golden.
Absolutely.
Oh, here you go. Wait, I'm gonna do the last thing to pull that young blood up here. If he does do it and you go ahead and hit the thing, email me and I'll send you a light. I'll send you some lights. I'll send you some lights, or I'll send you I think I have a microphone. I'll send you something. Once you do a video, hit your boy up, Dear Wokesy. I will send you something to help you move to get that 1% better, to my investment in your 1% better.
Don't give away my stuff, Jason.
Girl, hold on. This camera right here? You mean the camera I've been telling you about? Hold on 1 second.
I'm trying to get my camera, Jason. I'm trying to get my camera.
Hey, young blood, hurry up and get the camera. Hurry up and do your video, because I'll send you this camera, because this young lady on the screen right here with the blowout, she don't want this camera. So you go ahead, JT, do the video, and I will send you this camera right here.
Don't be giving away
Here, I got my fingerprint on it, so you know the camera I'm talking about. I've been trying to give Crystal this camera. She lived down the street around the corner from me. I've been trying to give her this camera for 2 weeks.
It's always like that.
Right? I'm getting my camera.
Shame.
I'm getting
That's
my
a daggone shame. Shout out to Libido 7447 with the $10 super chat. Says, finally someone speaking the Smith-Monk Act of 2012 modernized to propaganda. I'm guessing they say modernized to propagandize American people. It allowed government to propagandize citizens. Yes. Unfortunately, you know what's so crazy about that? I've talked to people, they had never even heard of the Smith-Monk Act before. Didn't know one, that it existed, and didn't know that it had been repealed.
You know why? Because their favorite savior was the one that did it.
Yeah,
I tell everybody, once you added Barack Obama in there, everybody went to sleep.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Because you can never talk bad about their savior.
No, you can't. You can't talk bad about the Messiah.
He
No.
was,
and he did bring he brought what he said he was going to bring. He brought a lack of hope and a whole hell of a lot of change that was for the detriment of our nation.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately. Shout out to LJ Taylor with the $2 super chat. Says, Crystal is right. If you're in the spirit, you felt it. Thank you very much, LJ. Thank you very much, LJ. Shout out to Hardy Harmonica gifting 5 ARP family memberships. Thank you, man. Please appreciate you. God bless you. Thank you for supporting the channel. Appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you very much. And we're going to get out of here, man. Appreciate you all pulling up this morning, hanging out about 2.5 hours. We kept it tight as possible anyway. But great conversation, man. Thank you, Minister Denzel. Go check him out over at Probe Analysis. We're gonna help Minister Denzel to build that thing up over there, man. We gotta get him working. We gotta get him working. Jay-Z, you talking about turn the camera on? We need to get Minister Denzel working.
Yeah, I get live. I gotta start doing that. You're right. You're right.
We got to get him working over there. Libido, thank you for the $10 super chat. Yes, did this.
Yes,
I'm
he
not
did.
sure exactly what that means.
You're talking about Obama.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Got you. Thank you, Crystal, for pulling up as well. Go check out Crystal over at Crystal Beyond Labels. Go check her out. And Mika, thank you for blessing us with your presence this morning. Thank you very much. Go check her out over at the Red Cup podcast. She's on a couple other places as well. She all over the place. She's doing big things. She's big time. So we're good to have a celebrity over here. And shout out to Jay Witt from the Jay Witt podcast. Appreciate you, brother.
Absolutely, man, for sure.
Great conversation, man. So I really, really, really appreciate you guys. I hope you guys learned something today. I heard a lot of people, or seen a lot of people in the chat saying they learned something today. So if you got one thing out of this, man, it's positive. It's positive, man. As always, I appreciate you guys pulling up. Shout out to all my blues. Thank you guys for pulling up and keeping things peaceful in the chat. Appreciate you guys. All my ARP family members, appreciate you all. Enjoy the weekend. Don't go too hard. Don't go too hard this weekend, but enjoy it. Enjoy the time off if you are off this weekend. We'll be back at this thing, Lord willing, Monday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, man. Keep God first. Stay prayed up. We'll catch up with y'all. Y'all take care. Peace.
Vibes so raw, can't hide the truth. Words so sharp,